Welcome back to Richmond Raiders football. We're joined now by the new head coach of the Raiders, James Fuller. First of all, Coach, welcome to Richmond. Welcome to the Raiders. And let the fans know a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you bring to the SIFL and the new home of the Raiders.
Well, I've been in this indoor game since '98. Been several places. Been head coach a few times. I think what I bring to this team is the knowledge of the indoor game. Hopefully, my knowledge can pass over to the players and to the coaches, because it is a different game from the rules they played last year. So I'm hoping that the 13-plus years I have in the indoor game can transfer over to the players and the coaches and have them have a better understanding of what we're trying to do offensively and defensively.
Now, speaking of the new league, we're in the SIFL this year. They have different rules from the AAFA and from AF2 and Arena Ball. I know you've been in a number of different leagues. Explain some of the key differences in those rules, what the restrictions are in this league, and how that will affect play calling and strategy in this game and in this season.
I think the biggest thing special teams-wise is no nets. If you kick the ball through the uprights on the kickoff, you get a point. That's different from the Arena League. In the Arena League, you have nets, so the ball never goes out of bounds unless you kick it outside the nets. If you don't return the ball out of the end zone, that's a point, which is different from the Arena League. So the chances to score on kickoffs are a lot better for the kicking team, whereas in an arena game, you kick the ball and you just hope for the best off the net or the iron. As far as alignments, pretty much the same from Arena League to the Indoor League. The IFL and some of the AIFL rules are a little different because you could have two guys in motion. And our division right now, the SIFL, you can only have one guy in motion. So that's where that's a little bit of a change. Kind of gives the defense a better knowledge of what's going on, with one guy going in motion instead of two.
You said you've made the rounds. This is your 13th year as a coach at some level of indoor or arena football. Let us know a little bit about your philosophy, the general strategy you like to use in the indoor game, and the kind of team we can expect to see as far as the overall philosophy you're going to bring to the Richmond Raiders. I'm
a big defensive coach. I've been a defensive coach all my career. Have called the offense several years in Philly when I was in California, as well as Dallas. So, I do have offensive knowledge of what's going on, but my strength is defense. I think my defense philosophy is basically bend but don't break, get them in the red zone, and where it's tough to score and play some solid red zone defense. On the flip side, offensively, protect our quarterback. That's the key. Protect the quarterback. If you can do that, you can move the ball and then score in the red zone. Anytime you can hold a team to 3 points in the red zone, that's a stop defensively. So our offense has to be solid in the red zone. We got to be able to run the ball in the red zone, which you don't hear a lot in their indoor game. But I think that's one thing that we're going to get to as we start moving forward.
Now, I assume you're going to be the coach on the field when the Raiders are on defense. Are you the kind of guy who's going to be out there for offense too?
I will be on the field with defense, but once the offense comes out, we'll have Brett out there. He's a solid coach, been around the arena game for a while as well. I'm a coach who likes to let my coaches coach. I'll give input here and there through the headsets, but other than that, they know the offense. They know what they're trying to accomplish, and we worked on it all week. So there shouldn't be too much changes during the game. Maybe at halftime we might tweak a few things, but I let the coaches coach and then give them some ideas here and there.
Since you were officially announced as the head coach of the Raiders, it's been 1 month and 1 day.
It's been kind of crazy. I was flying in, interviewing, and then within the next couple of days, they signed me as the head coach. I had to drive across country from Portland, Oregon, to Virginia. And once I arrived here, we hit the ground running, getting our practice facility working, trying to make sure our roster was where we wanted it to be. So it's been kind of a mad dash, for this home game. So hopefully we've done our due diligence and we'll be prepared offensively, defensively, and special teams and put on a show. Team-wise, I just want to have a solid team, both sides of the ball. Don't give up big plays and just play smart football.
You got a chance to run some of your stuff last week in the exhibition. What did you see in that game that you liked, and what did you see that needed to be changed or tweaked or worked on for the regular season?
I think defensively, I think we just need to work on a little bit more of the man coverage stuff. We played a lot of zone last week. Probably changed it up a little bit today, but I think the big thing in the scrimmage was defensively, man coverage, being a little bit better in the red zone as far as knowing exactly what to do. We blew a few coverages. Luckily, they didn't see it. And offensively, we just got to be more efficient. I thought we gave away some downs, bad throws, a couple drop balls, and a fumble. So we can't have any turnovers, and we just got to continue to move the ball and not make critical errors.
Let's talk a little bit about tonight's opponent, the Trenton Steel. A number of their players do have indoor experience. Some of the rookies to this game, of course, coming together as an expansion team, putting the players together with a new coaching staff that hasn't been together for that long, presents its own unique set of challenges. So what's your approach to facing this expansion team in their first ever game?
Well, I always give, any team the respect. That's why you play the game. If you could just walk out on the field and win, I think, everybody would want to be a head coach. But, they have a solid staff, which I know very well. I coached against their defensive coordinator when he was a player. Their offensive assistant played for me in Dallas, so I know them very well as their head coach, who I've won against several times in the Arena League. So I know them very well. I know they'll be coached. I know they have some ball players who can play. I think our scrimmage hopefully will be the deciding factor in this, that we have been able to at least play a game and hit another color jersey. So hopefully the speed that we play at will be difficult for them.
Do you think that having run into a number of their staffers throughout your various stops and their various stops will lead to some tendencies, anything you can kind of key on, and vice versa with them having known you from those stops as well?
Definitely. They know me. I know them. But, it's always a little different because, we don't have our same teams. We're not in Dallas, we're not in Philly, we're not in Grand Rapids or any of them other Cleveland and them other teams. So you got to work with the personnel you have. And I'm sure that they're going to tweak some things that they've done in the past to fit their personnel, just like we're going to do. So I think the team that makes adjustments during the game is going to be the team to be successful.
Any other keys for victory tonight? You mentioned turnovers, you mentioned the adjustments. Anything you want to see from your guys that you think, if that happens, will give you a great chance to win?
I think the key to this game is our defensive line putting pressure on the quarterback. He's a solid quarterback. I think he was 16-0 last season with the Mariners, so he's proven to be a gamer. I think we got to put pressure on him, force him into some bad decisions, and then on the flip side, for us offensively, we got to protect our quarterback. Don't turn the ball over.
You can play indoors, outdoors, different rules, but at any level of football, it comes down to protect the quarterback and get after their guy.
That's right. Protect ours, get after theirs.
We ask you to protect us from any injury today, and we ask you for all of these things in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
The invocation, now the color guard coming onto the field here pregame at the Richmond Coliseum.
And the singing of our national anthem. Leading our great nation's anthem, please welcome Catherine Burnell.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Katie Hurley with the national anthem here as we get ready for a kickoff. The Raiders and the Steel just moments away. Glad you're with us here from the Coliseum as we get the SIFL season underway. Year 2 for the Richmond Raiders. Year 1 in the new league. And while we have a moment here, let's take a look at the organization and some of the other teams in the SIFL that the Raiders will be facing off against throughout the course of this 12-game season. Some familiar teams from last year's AIFA Eastern Conference. The Erie Explosion, renamed team in Erie, basically the same franchise. They had to change their name from the Storm because of a lawsuit from a local college. But there's a team in Erie. They'll be called the Explosion this year. The Harrisburg Stampede, of course, and these Trenton Steel. They make up the Northeast Division of the Eastern Conference. As I mentioned, the Raiders are in the Mid-Atlantic Division with the Fayetteville Force and the Carolina Speed. In the Southern Division of the Eastern Conference, the Albany Panthers, the defending league champion Columbus Lions, and the Alabama Hammers will comprise that division. Over in the Western Conference, in the Gulf Coast Division, you have the Mobile Bay Tarpons, the Lafayette Wildcatters, and the Louisiana Swashbucklers. In the Southwest Division, the Corpus Christi Hammerheads, the Abilene Rough Riders, the Rio Grande Valley Magic, and the Houston Stallions. 4 teams in the state of Texas making up that Southwest Division. The top 4 teams in each conference will advance to the playoffs, and of course the conference champions will meet for the league championship later this summer. So as long as the Raiders take care of business, win their division ahead of Fayetteville and Carolina, they'll make the playoffs and advance and try to bring a championship back to Richmond. In other action tonight, the Louisiana Swashbucklers are in action at the Albany Panthers. Corpus Christi Hammerheads on the road to Abilene to take on the Rough Riders. And our game here in Richmond, so just 3 games on the docket tonight in the SIFL. 1 game last night, Carolina at Fayetteville. And it was the Force coming out on top over the Carolina Speed in the last seconds with a goal line stand to win their first game in the 2011 SIFL. Lights are coming back on. Teams are doing their final stretches. Passing back and forth. E.J. Namath for the Steel. Rodney Landers and Brian Randall playing some catch for the Raiders. Just about ready to get underway. Glad you're with us here from the Coliseum this evening. And we'll have the coin toss for you momentarily. Mentioned the Trenton Steel roster as having some indoor and arena experience on it. You look up and down the roster, of course. E.J. Namath, the quarterback. Damon Harrison, a wide receiver, played with Namath in Baltimore last year, caught 7 touchdowns in their championship run. Some names like Joe Johnson-Bow, Tyrell Zimmerman on the offensive and defensive lines, respectively, have made the rounds and might be familiar to Raider fans as having played on opponents that have made their way into the Coliseum in years past. There's also some NFL bloodlines flowing through this Trenton Steel Ball Club. At least 3 players on their team are sons or brothers of former National Football Leaguers. O'Derek Turner, a wideout who played at Pittsburgh collegiately, is the son of Odessa Turner, who played 7 seasons with the Giants and 49ers. Keon Lattimore played at Maryland. He's the younger half-brother of Ray Lewis of the Ravens, perennial NFL Pro Bowler. And running back Craig Hayward Jr., as you might assume, is the son of the late Craig Ironhead Hayward, who had an 11-year career in the NFL and was one of the bruising big men during his time in the National Football League. And Hayward and Keon Lattimore, to the surprise of few, have nicknamed themselves Thunder and Lightning in this Trenton Steel backfield. And with the bloodlines flowing through Craig Hayward Jr., you can guess who's Thunder and who's Lightning. Almost set for the coin toss and for a kickoff here from the Richmond Coliseum. We'll take a quick timeout and be back with the kickoff and the first quarter. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football.
The Richmond Raiders are on the air. The Richmond Raiders Radio Network welcomes you to the following presentation of Southern Indoor Football League action. Now, here's the voice of the Raiders, Tim Hurley.
Good evening once again. Welcome back to the Richmond Coliseum. The Steel have just won the coin toss and deferred to the second half. Raiders will receive the opening kickoff and have the ball first in the first game of the 2011 SIFL season. Brian Randall, Stephen Kaysen, the captains for the Raiders out at midfield, who will receive defending the end zone to our left. E.J. Namath, Tyrell Zimmerman, and Joey Johnson-Bow, the captains for the Steel, heading back to their team bench, which has been switched from last year. The 2 team locations now have been flip-flopped across corners of the Coliseum. Visiting team is now across the field and on the right, as you see the Steel players in their white jerseys with black pants and black helmets congregating behind the wall, behind the end zone in the corner to the right. The Raiders sideline will be in the lower left of the Richmond Coliseum. Strategic for a couple of reasons. That's the corner closest to the Raiders locker room, so it's that much easier for them to get in and out from pregame and halftime festivities. Not to mention the fact that the upper right team area is right next to the Raiders' black hole. The first section of seats right next to the visiting team's bench is the Raiders' official Black Hole fan club. And now they can make lives miserable for opposing players all season long. We're set to go. Larry Williams is deep to return the kickoff for the Raiders. Craig Kamei is the kicker for the Steel. He approaches, puts his toe into it, and we're underway. A high-end over-end kick coming down about 5 yards deep in the end zone. Williams brings it out, cuts to his right across the 10, gets behind a block, and it's brought down to the 15. Gets back on his feet across the 20 to midfield. Far side 20 past the kicker to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Raiders! Williams takes it all the way back for a score on the opening kickoff. He was brought down near the 15-yard line, but his knee never touched the turf. He got back up, kept his legs moving, and took it all the way back for 6. So how about that, Raiders fans? One play, opening kickoff, and it's 6-0 Raiders. Chris Seeger is on for the extra point. Aaron Alexander to hold. He's got it. Seeger puts it up and puts it through. 13 seconds have gone by here in the first quarter, and it's Raiders 7, Steel nothing. And welcome to the Southern Indoor Football League, Richmond and Trenton. Larry Williams has electrified this crowd, taking the opening kickoff back 55 yards to put the Raiders up with an early touchdown. $7-0 Raiders. 14:47 to go. As you can tell, we're just underway. And now the Steel try to respond from giving up that second effort run by Larry Williams. And he covered a good 35 yards of that return after almost being brought down. Seemed like he might have had his knee down on top of another player. But like you're taught to do, he kept his legs moving until he heard the whistle. And the only whistle he heard was after he crossed the goal line when the ref put his arms up in the air. Keon Lattimore is deep, standing at the goal line for the Steel. He'll be the return man for Trenton on this first kickoff from Chris Seeger. A lot of rules from the AIFA are the same and familiar here in the SIFL. Kickoffs from the goal line. Seeger gets it away. Lattimore takes it about 5 yards deep. Far corner, brings it out to the 10. Sutter steps, is hit, keeps the momentum going, but then is drilled into the far side wall. First contact made by Darius Leak, and Vince Hall was there to help clean up. So the Raiders make sure to be sure tacklers on their kickoff coverage, escorting Lattimore into that wall. And it'll be at the 14-yard line. First down for the Steel, ready for our first official offensive play of this ball game. E.J. Namath, the quarterback. Dan Huff split out wide to the left on the line. One man in motion to the left side. Flags before we can get this play underway. Derek Turner was the motion man on the near side. Damon Harrison was the receiver to the far side. And someone moved early, so the Steel get marked off 5 yards. Joey Johnson battled the center. Nate Tucker and Mike Trice, the offensive lineman for the Steel. Keon Lattimore in the backfield as the starting running back for Trenton. 1st and 15 for the Steel. Under center, Namath takes a snap. This side complete to Huff, and he's double teamed and brought down near the 13-yard line. Dan Huff making the reception. It's good for, we'll call it 4. 2nd and 11 for Trenton. Michael Woodhouse, Alan Michael Cash, and Nolan Burchett are on the defensive line for the Raiders. As on 2nd and 11, Namath back to throw again, is hit. Woodhouse has him. The ball comes loose. Fumble on the play. Picked up by the Steel. Lattimore has it, and he's brought down all the way back at the 5-yard line. Not a lot of time for Namath at all as Woodhouse beat his man, got into the backfield, knocked the ball away. And the Steel recovered but moved backwards again. It's going to be 3rd down, 19 yards to go for Trenton. Their first offensive possession has only been moving backwards. Third and long, one man coming in forward motion. That's Huff again. From the end zone, Namath under pressure again. Dodges a couple, gets it away as he's hit. It's complete at midfield. Huff has it across the 20 to the 15. Stays on his feet along the wall, and he's in. Touchdown, Steel. Huff was open at midfield. One Raider player had a chance. I think it was Stephen Kaysen along the near sideline. Had a chance to make a play on him. Huff a little bit too fast, got by him, tiptoed down the sideline, stayed off that wall, and took it into the end zone. That's a 45-yard touchdown pass on 3rd and long from Namath to Dan Huff. Kamei on for the extra point. Out of the hold of the touchdown receiver, Huff. It's up and through. And the Steel come back, convert on a big third down, and tie this game 7-7. Three plays, 36 yards on the touchdown drive for the Steel. A penalty and a fumble had him backed up to the 5-yard line where it was 3rd and 19. But we talked about the experience of the veteran quarterback, E.J. Namath, and he showed why on that third down play. Got away from pressure, dodged a would-be sack or another fumble back near his goal line, stepped up in the pocket, kept the play alive with his feet, found an open receiver at midfield, and Dan Huff did the rest. Moving well after the catch, taking it down the sideline for the score, but a lot of credit on that play goes to veteran quarterback E.J. Namath. 12:35 to go in the first quarter. 7-7 the score. Larry Williams back again for the Raiders. Kamei's kick is on the way to him. A little bit higher, a little bit farther than last time, and it goes over the back wall, a little shy of the crossbar. A flag comes down for illegal procedure for not putting the ball in play on a kickoff. The Uno is still in play here in the SIFL. If the kickoff goes through the uprights, it's a point for the kicking team. But if it goes out of play over the back wall or over a sidewall into the stands, it's not good for the kicking team because it comes all the way out to the 20-yard line, and that's where the Raiders are going to start on this drive. Of course, for the Steel, the 20s, better than picking yourselves up off the ground after a guy gets into the end zone. So Brian Randall's out there for his first snap of the game. Red Thompson backs up, and Antoine Williams comes up onto the line, and Red's going to go in forward motion on the far side. Randall back to throw, has time over the middle, looking for Red, wide open, touchdown Raiders! Red Thompson got behind the defense, caught it on the run, and took it to the end zone for the score! Got behind Gladell Brutus and Carl Spellman. So the Raiders have touched the ball 3 times and scored on 2 of those plays. Red had that head of steam going. Had the forward motion before the snap. Found the seam behind the defense and just beat 2 guys. Randall saw him, laid it up for him. He caught it in stride. And with the Seeger kick, it's now 14-7, Raiders up. Not even 3 minutes gone by in this game, and we've seen 3 touchdowns so far. There's a discussion between the officials. The scoreboard still shows 13 for the Raiders. The kick to me seemed to go up between the uprights and get caught in the net that's suspended between them, but the net does go up farther than the actual uprights do. And the ruling on the field is that even though it did hit the net, it didn't go between the uprights. So check that. It's now 13-7. Raiders up by 6, not 7. Looked good to me. In fact, I saw the kick go up and hit the net and looked down to make a note of it. And next time I looked up, the refs were talking, and the point wasn't on the board. So it's 13-7. Raiders up by 6, kicking off again. Seeger's got it teed up at his goal line. Keon Lattimore is again the deep man for the Steel. Seeger approaches, kicks it up and away, angling towards the back corner. Lattimore watches it go over his head and into the Trenton team bench area. So now the Steel are going to get it out of the 20-yard line. So a couple of good plays by the Raiders defense, pressuring Namath, and that's what they want to do. They want to get after the quarterback. As we heard in the pregame show, they want to make life uncomfortable for him back there. But Namath able to avoid the pressure on his last play and complete a touchdown pass. Raider defense back out there, trying to pick up where they left off. Brent Trice and Darius Leak at linebacker for the Raiders. We'll check the DBs after this play. Quick swing pass out to the right side. It's caught by Huff, and he gains a few yards before the Raiders can catch up to him and stop his forward progress along that far side wall, but he does take it across midfield for a gain of 7. Stephen Kaysen, Junior Rosegreen, and Larry Williams are the DBs for the Raiders. And that's to get you caught up on all the starters defensively for the Raiders. Second down, call it 3 for the steal. Huff again is going to come in motion. Outside to the near side. Namath looks for him, pump fakes, has to scramble, throws to the right side where it is complete. First down yardage near the 10-yard line for Damon Harrison. So both quarterbacks perfect so far. Namath 4 for 4, including 2 completions on this drive. That one for a first down. And it's going to be first and goal with the nose of the ball just across the plane of the 10-yard line. 2 men left, 1 right for the steal. Turner in motion. Namath off his back foot, has his pass deflected, and it's incomplete. Namath had to retreat. Alan Michael Cash was getting back in the backfield and got in his face a little bit and got a hand on the football. So incomplete on first and goal. Second and goal coming up for the steal. Alan Michael Cash out of Verona High School and North Carolina State had a pretty big game last week in the exhibition. Had a field day in the backfield. On second down, Namath the throw. Steps, throws, caught, touchdown, steal. Derek Turner, despite pretty good coverage by Larry Williams, got open, and Namath threaded the needle, and the Steel are an extra point away from taking the lead. Nothing but touchdowns in this game. 13-13 with Kamei on for the extra point. Kamei to kick it. Snap is good. Hold is down. The kick is up, and it does split the uprights. No question about that extra point. So with 10:09 to go in the first quarter, the Steel are now on top by a point, 14-13. 14-13, Trenton up by a point. 10:09 to go, first quarter. We'll be back after this. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football. Welcome back to the Richmond Coliseum. 10:09 remaining in the first quarter, and there's been a lot of fireworks so far. It's 14-13. Trenton on top of the Raiders by a point. Opening kickoff return for a touchdown by the Raiders and Larry Williams, who's back to receive this kickoff from Craig Kamei. 2 offensive touchdowns for the Steel in their 2 possessions, sandwiching a Raiders offensive touchdown on the first play of the drive. Raiders about to get it back once again. Kamei approaches, kicks it away. A high kick. Williams steps forward, takes it, has it go off his hands, and it bounces on the near sideline outside the 5-yard line. There's a pile-up for it along the near side wall. 3 or 4 Steel players underneath the pile. The refs are umpiling them. The Steel say they have it. Refs still making players get up, looking for the ball. No official signal yet. And now there is. Trenton ball. So the kickoff went off the hands of Larry Williams and ricocheted towards the near side wall. Brutus and Pollard got back there for the Steel, downfield on coverage. And one of them recovered the fumble down at the bottom of that pile. So it's going to be first and goal for the Steel at the 9-yard line. So a short field, a quick turnaround for the Trenton Steel, looking to extend the lead now on a first and goal. Raider defense trying to stiffen. One man going in forward motion. Namath back to throw. Rolls to his right, getting chased. A hand on him. He throws it away behind the end zone. Michael Woodhouse was back there, made first contact with Namath. And Vince Hall was back there to help Namath throws it into the crowd. A souvenir for a fan in the director's chairs behind the wall of the end zone to our left. 2nd and goal coming up for the Steel. And that's what the Raiders have to do. As Coach James Fuller said in the pregame show, it's all about protecting your quarterback and getting after the other team's quarterback. And Namath, although he has completed 5 of his 7 passes, hasn't had a whole lot of time to set his feet and survey the field in his pocket. Back to throw on 2nd down. Again, the pocket collapses, and he's hit, and he's brought down, and it's a sack. First contact made by Nolan Burchett, but Alan Michael Cash got back there as well to help bring down Namath. And it's going to be 3rd and long, 3rd and goal from the 12 coming up for the Steel. Namath gets the play from the Steel coach. Again, each team can have one coach on the field behind the line of scrimmage and up against the wall. 3rd and goal for the Steel. Under center, Namath pump fakes, rolls to his right, getting pressured, slips, falls down on the turf, and then is touched down by Vince Hall. Give an assist on that sack to the Lady Raiders, who had a few of their silver pom-poms shed on the field. I'm not sure if Namath actually slipped on one of those or just couldn't find his footing on the turf. But either way, he loses 6 yards. And again, the Steel go backwards on this drive and are going to have to settle for a long field goal from Kamei. From midfield, 33-yard attempt for Kamei. It's on the way. It's got the distance. It hits the net, and it is good. That one high above the upright. The referee right there to take a look at it. And he puts the arms up in the air. A 33-yarder for Kamei. And the Steel fortunate to at least salvage some points on that drive after they recovered the fumble on the kickoff. A couple of sacks by Namath later. They get 3 points on the board, so that makes it 17-13, Steel on top, 7:15 to go in the first quarter. Raiders will try to hold on to the kickoff this time, get something going on offense. The Raiders, we played over half of the first period, and the Raiders have taken exactly 1 offensive snap. All the excitement for the Raiders on this game has come on the kickoffs. 1 return for a touchdown, 1 fumble deep in their territory. Of course, the 1 snap for the Raiders went pretty well also, resulting in a 30-yard touchdown pass from Brian Randall to Red Thompson. Laurie Williams back there again, looking to secure this kickoff and set the Raiders up. Kamei approaches. A high, deep kick. This one sends Williams back to the wall. It goes near the uprights, and it goes through the uprights. Delayed signal from the ref. Hard to tell from this angle, but give Kamei the uno. Make it 18-13, and the Raiders will have to start from their own 5-yard line.
They get a point for it. The ball comes out of the 5-yard line. That's where the Raiders are going to get started. 1st and 10.
So we'll see what the Raiders come up with here. We've seen them take 1 snap so far. This one from worst field position at their own 5-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Randall's under center. He's got Rodney Landers to his left. Red Thompson coming in motion to this side. Antoine Williams also to the near right side. Randall steps up in the pocket. Back in the end zone, spins. Has to get away from pressure. Is finally brought down near the 5-yard line, far sideline. They're going to mark him maybe half a yard shy. So Randall tried to scramble. Nobody open downfield. He has to eat the ball. 2nd down and 11 coming up for the Raiders. Kenneth Moses, Derek Stout, and Dwayne Delaney are on the offensive line for the Raiders. Haven't had a chance to get those starters named yet. Brandon Isaiah is the fullback for the Raiders. Thompson again comes in motion. Quick throw out this side, caught by Antoine Williams. Is hit, brought down securely in the middle of the field by Chris Pollard. He does take it across the 10 to the 12 and sets up third down and manageable for the Raiders. 8-yard completion sets up third down and 3. First third down faced by the Raiders. Red is lined up in the backfield now, slides to his right, comes in forward motion this side. Randall to throw. This side, it's incomplete. He just underthrew Antoine Williams, who ran a 5-yard stop route. The throw a little bit low and outside. Williams couldn't go down and get it, so it's fourth down. So decision time for the Raiders, and they're keeping the offense out there. Offensive coordinator Brent Williams says we're going to go for it. Of course, there's no punting in the SIFL. So it's either kick a field goal or go for it. 4th and 3 for the Raiders. Red comes around again, U-shaped from left to right. Randall the throw, looking for Red over the top, and he makes the catch. He had to come back for it a little bit, caught it in the breadbasket between two defenders, fell down at the 10-yard line. A big completion for the Raiders, and a first down in Steel territory. .28-yard completion from Randall to Red. Red Thompson, as we know, a deep threat wherever he goes. Sets up the Raiders with a first and goal at the 10-yard line of Trenton. Final 5 minutes of the first quarter. Raiders down by 5, looking for a touchdown to go ahead. Play is stopped. Referees congregating, teams congregating. There's a timeout on the field. 4:57 showing on the first quarter clock. Raiders down 18-13, and a big fourth down conversion just there. After the Raiders got backed up after the Uno on the kickoff, Randall scrambled and fell down, lost a yard on first down, put the Raiders behind the chains. Eventually were able to get out into a 3rd and short, threw incomplete, 4th and short, they converted long. Red took it all the way down to the 10-yard line, and a great job on that throw by Brian Randall, because unlike the first play of the game for the Raiders, when Red was behind everybody and had yards to spare, this time the coverage was a little closer, and the throw was a little bit shorter, so Red had to turn around, slow down a little bit, catch it in his stomach, and he held on to it. And after the timeout, it'll be first and goal for the Raiders. Trenton defense mentioned a few of their names. Mike Bibbs, Tyrell Zimmerman, Stephen Hickson on the defensive line for the Steel. As we're set to go, first and goal for the Raiders. This time it's going to be Antoine Williams coming in forward motion. All 3 men to the left. Randall quick out far side, caught by Rodney Landers. He is hit, split into the far side wall inside the 5-yard line. Pickup of 7 yards, 2nd and goal from the 3.
Second and goal.
Randall gets the play from Brent Williams and will take it into the huddle. Much more of a composed drive this time for the Raiders. First extended action we've seen the offense get. Again, all 3 men start on the right side. Red stays there as he goes between the 2 other receivers. It's a quick out this side to Antoine Williams. He tries to turn the corner but can't. Good penetration by Carl Spellman to get in there and upend Antoine Williams near the line of scrimmage, and they're going to give him no gain. 3rd and goal for the Raiders. 3 yards away from pay dirt. Under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Raiders down 18-13. With the ball on the right hash, all 3 men split out to the left. Antoine Williams is 7 yards deep, going in forward motion. Randall under center, back to throw, has time, looks in the end zone, pump fakes, fires, and it's incomplete. He was waiting for Rodney Landers to break coverage with his man, Looks like that was R.J. Cobbs out there covering Landers. Landers could not break free and move to the spot that Randall threw it to. So it goes incomplete, and the field goal unit comes on. Raiders want to get some points here. And Chris Seeger will try a field goal. Aaron Alexander will hold. Long snapper is Nolan Burchett. And Alexander will put it down at the 9-yard line, making it a 17-yard attempt for Chris Seeger. Snap is good. Field goal is blocked. Seeger got a slow start, and Mike Andrews got back there to block the kick. A scrum for on the far side. The Steel come up with the football. And now some pushing and shoving along that far side. It's Kenneth Moses for the Raiders mixing it up with a couple of Steel players. Now he gets out of the way and comes back towards the Raiders side of the field. So the Raiders get all the way down in a goal-to-go situation and have the field goal blocked. So with 2:25 to go, the Steel get the ball at the 9-yard line with a 5-point lead. One man coming in forward motion, movement along the lines, flag down and whistles blowing. No play here. We'll see who jumped first. The Raiders look like they might have gotten across the line before movement by Trenton, and they did. 5-yard walk-off against the Raiders. 1st and 5 coming up for Trenton. And that field goal, just to finish it up. The snap was good, the hold was made, but it looked to me like Seeger hesitated just for a second before he started his approach to get his leg into it. And by doing so, that allowed the man to get back there. And by the time he did, it never had a chance. So now 1st and 5 for the Steel. Reversing his field is Harrison. Throwing this way is Namath. Turner has it, and he's brought down at midfield. Tackle finally made by Junior Rosegreen. 11-yard completion to a Derek Turner. First and 10 from midfield for Trenton. 2 men to the left, one coming in straight ahead forward motion. The handoff goes nowhere. It's Craig Hayward Jr. on the carry. He was met right at the line and brought down for no gain. It's Vince Hall and Nolan Burchett combining to stop Hayward in his tracks. First running play of the game. And the namesake of Ironhead Hayward, listed at 6 feet, 234 pounds. Didn't quite get his momentum going on that play. 2nd and 10 for the Steel. Again, a man coming in forward motion on the near side. Namath, deep drop, sets up, throws deep, looking for the end zone, and it's incomplete. Overthrowing Derek Turner. The ball hit the top of the back wall. Namath's eyes got a little big back in the pocket. His arm just a little bit too big as well on that play. 3rd and 10 for the Steel. This is where the Raiders really have to step it up and lock down on defense. Final minute of the first quarter. 46 seconds to go. And 3rd and 10 for the Steel. 2 men split out to the right this time. On the near side, it's Damon Harrison now backing up 10 yards deep and getting ahead of steam, coming straight ahead. Namath back to throw, sets up, steps up, and is hit and brought down. Sacked back out to the 20-yard line. Allen, Michael Cash, and Lewis Corum bring down E.J. Namath. 4th and long for the Steel. Fourth and 14 for Trenton. And the Richmond defense pumped up. Nice stand by the Raiders to end the first quarter. One quarter finally in the books. Trenton 18, Richmond 13. We'll be back after this. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football. Welcome back to the Richmond Coliseum. Tim Hurley with you as we're set to start the second quarter. After one period, it's Steel 18, Raiders 13. A back and forth first quarter. Fireworks to start the game. The opening kickoff return for a touchdown. A long touchdown pass by the Steel to tie it. The teams then traded touchdowns before the Raiders fumbled the kickoff, setting up a Trenton field goal. An Uno later, and a blocked field goal of Chris Seeger set up the Steel for this drive, which is now, hopefully for the Raiders, coming to an end on 4th and 14. Craig Kamei on for a long field goal. Larry Williams back to return it just in case he leaves it short. It'll be spotted at the 14-yard line. It's a 44-yard attempt by Kamei. First play of the second quarter is snapped. Good hold. The kick winds to the left, and it goes into the second row of the stands. No good, wide to the left. 44 attempt, sidewinds to the left, and the Raiders escape the blocked field goal with a defensive stand and a long field goal miss by the Steel. A pretty good drive last time by the Raiders. We saw the offense convert a fourth down deep in their own territory and get a goal-to-go situation down in Steel territory. Just couldn't quite convert on third and fourth downs. A couple of incomplete passes on the short field as you get back there and have that back wall acting as a ninth defender. Raiders couldn't get it into the end zone. And, of course, the field goal was blocked. So now from their own 20-yard line, they'll start and try to get back on the board. 2 men left. 2 men right, check it. 1 to the left as the Raiders move from right to left. Randall to throw, looking deep, and it's overthrown. Williams cut off his route and was running across the field. Randall threw up the field into the end zone. And the throw incomplete. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. And they're definitely trying to stretch this Trenton Steel defense. We've seen Brian Randall look down the field on almost every pass he's thrown. Now down towards the goal line last time, he was throwing quick outs. Obviously, he's going to check down to the other receivers. But he's got 30 yards in front of him. He's not afraid to use it all. On 2nd and 10 from under center, Randall back to throw. Sets up with a flag down near sideline. Again looking in the end zone. Again throwing a little bit too far for Antoine Williams. We'll check the flag, though. Incomplete pass if it stands.
Defense, number 58, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Illegal defense is the call on Trenton. And the penalty for that is 5 yards and an automatic first down. So take it out to midfield. And they're going to move the chains. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. In the SIFL, linebackers are constrained as to where they can line up and where they can move. Someone got outside the box on that play. Handoff goes to B.I. Brandon Isaiah runs to the left, drags a couple of defenders with him for a couple of yards into Steel territory.
Handoff to Brandon Isaiah. About 3 of them. 2nd down.
Brandon Isaiah getting a touch. Fullback out of the University of Virginia. A lot of homegrown talent, local products on this Richmond Raiders roster from colleges near and far within the Commonwealth. 2nd and 7. Randall back to throw. Has time, looks across the middle, and it's caught by a diving Rodney Landers down at the 10-yard line. Landers had to stop, dive a little bit to his left, and go to the ground. But he made the catch. 15-yard hookup from Randall to Landers, and the Raiders in business now from the 10-yard line. 1st and goal for the Raiders. Red Thompson in the backfield now slides to his left, comes in forward motion between Landers and Williams. Throw this side to Williams. He's hit, gets out of that tackle, stays on his feet, and dives forward near the 5-yard line. Initial contact made by Carl Spellman, but Gladell Brutus had to come over and help clean up along with R.J. Cobbs because Williams put his head down, dished out as much punishment as he took on that play. And when all was said and done, he moved it ahead to the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal for the Raiders. .11:07 remaining in the second quarter. Raiders still down by 5, looking to get in the end zone and take the lead. Williams in forward motion. Randall back to throw. Sets up, scramble to the right. He throws to the goal line, and it's almost picked off. Gladell Brutus cut off Antoine Williams. And if he had been able to hold on, that's a 50-yard pick six because there was nobody between him and Pager down the other side of the field. So it's 3rd and goal for the Raiders from the 5-yard line. We'll see what Brent Williams can dial up in a short yardage situation. Isaiah in the backfield. Landers and Williams on the line to the right. Thompson on that side now runs in between them towards the line. Randall to throw. Looks into the end zone. Throws to the back of the end zone. And it's caught in the back of the end zone by Red Thompson. Touchdown Raiders! That one could have gone to Red or Williams. They were both in the same general area. Red cut him off. And with the sure hands that we have known to know and love by Red Thompson, hung on to the football, and the Raiders up by a point. Seeger on for the extra point to try to make it 2. High snap, ball put down. Seeger kicks it up and straight through. That one hit the net between the uprights. Ref looked at it all the way. And with 10:14 to go in the second quarter, the Raiders are back on top. It's 20-18. Raiders put together the drive, get down the field, and this time when they get to a goal-to-go situation, are able to cash in. 5-yard touchdown pass from Brian Randall to Red Thompson. And the Raiders up by 2. 10:14 remaining, first half. Raiders up by a deuce. We'll take a timeout, be back after this. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football. Welcome back to the Richmond Coliseum. Raiders have recaptured the lead, are now up 20-18. Brian Randall, 8 of 11 passing, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns, both to Red Thompson. The most recent one, a 5-yard strike to give the Raiders this lead. And the defense will get a chance to get back out there and show E.J. Namath and company what they can do. Keon Lattimore patrolling the end zone, waiting for the kickoff. Chris Seeger definitely has the leg for Unos, but the strategy they're using so far tonight has been keep it in play, keep it playable, and let's go down there and cover it. This one, however, is high and deep, and it's going to go over the back wall. Didn't quite have the distance for an Uno, but it did have the distance to clear that back wall behind the end zone, so the Steelers are going to start at the 20-yard line. E.J. Namath is 6 of 9 passing for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also been sacked 3 times. He'll have a 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. 2 men to the right, including with Derek Turner, who's coming in forward motion. Under center, Namath. Quick throw this side. Huff can't make the play. Closing quickly was Larry Williams. Dan Huff, who's caught 3 balls tonight for 56 yards and a touchdown. Couldn't quite get low enough to catch that one out of Nemath's hand. And it's 2nd down and 10 for Trenton. This time it's Huff and Turner to the left. Damon Harrison to the right. And Derek Turner is 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He comes in forward motion. Namath back to throw. Steps up with time, throws this side, and it's incomplete through the hands this time of Damon Harrison. Brent Trice gambled, tried to go for the pick or at least the deflection, and he's hearing about it from his coach right now. And Damon Harrison just couldn't get tall enough to catch that pass from Namath. So even though Namath had time in the pocket on that play, he threw too high. So his 2 incompletions so far this drive have been low and high. And that makes it 3rd and 10 for the steal. This time Derek Turner comes in forward motion on the near side. Namath back to throw. Under pressure, steps up. His jersey is grabbed. He is brought down at the 20-yard line. Again, it's Michael Woodhouse back there to make the big play for the Raiders defense, stopping the steal on 3rd down. And once Woodhouse got a fistful of Namath's jersey, he did not let go. Brought him down as he ran back to the line of scrimmage. 4th and 10 for the steal. And the kick unit comes on. Craig Kamei will try another field goal. Another stop for this Raiders defense. And a flag down. They've got too many men on the field. 9 guys on the field for the steal. They couldn't quite get the special teams unit figured out. So that'll back him up 5 more yards, make it even longer for Kamei, who for the moment is still staying out there. He's definitely got the leg, and we saw him make an Uno earlier tonight. And granted, while that is off of a tee on a kickoff, the field goal directly on the turf, there's no second thought about it. From 5 yards deeper, it'll still be a field goal attempt for the steal after a timeout. Trenton's going to have to call time just to get their special teams unit squared away and make sure they get the kicking unit out there that they want. So 8:04 to go in the second quarter. Raiders up 20-18, and a 3rd straight stop for the Raiders defense. All you're trying to do in indoor football on defense is not let the other team in the end zone. If you can hold them to field goal attempts, or better yet, get a turnover, then you've done your job. And this will be the 3rd straight possession for the steal that they're going to have to try a field goal. The first one, probably the biggest stop for the Raiders defense. After the fumble kickoff, the steal got it at the 9-yard line of Richmond. And in 3 plays went nowhere. And even though the field goal was good by Kamei, it's a stop for the Raiders defense. Kamei missed his last one from 44 yards. This one's going to be longer than that. It'll be put down just outside the 9-yard line. A 49-yard field goal. Snap back, placement made, the kick is on the way, has the distance, winding towards the uprights, and it splits the uprights. A 49-yard field goal for Craig Kamei. So again, the Raiders will take the stop. Better to give up 3 than 7, but Kamei is still high-fiving and chest-bumping with his teammates as he makes a big-time field goal from 49 yards and gives the Steel the lead 21-20. Craig Kamei, the kicker out of the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, where he earned second-team All-American honors as a senior in 2009. He made 19 of 21 field goals that year from inside the 40-yard line. Definitely has the accuracy to make the distances that you need in indoor football. Was born in South Africa. Came to the United States with his parents at age 12. And is one pumped-up kicker over on the Trenton sideline, having just put his team on top 21-20. He's out now to put the ball in the tee, kick it away to Larry Williams. We'll see if he tries to keep it away from Larry Williams, who's got a 55-yard touchdown return of a kickoff to his credit in tonight's game. Kick from Kamei, high, deep, over the head of Williams. He reaches over the boards, can't make the play on it. Touchback for the Raiders. And they do rule a 5-yard touchback. That's the difference between letting that ball go by Larry Williams and trying to make a play on it over the wall. Because he touched it and didn't return it out of the end zone, the ball comes out to the 5-yard line. If he had just let that go, it would have gone over the wall on its own, and it would have been a 20-yard touchback for the Raiders. But from their 5, they just got that much more space to work with. Red Thompson backs up, shifts over to the right. Randall in the end zone, fires this side. Landers is wide open across the 15. Met and drags his man near the 20-yard line before Gladell Brutus knocks him into the wall.
It's the 19-yard line. That moves the chains. It's an extended stay hotels.
Ball is marked at the 19-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Antoine Williams and Red Thompson to the right. They're both on the line. It's going to be Rodney Landers coming in forward motion on the near side this play. Randall to throw, looks for Landers, has him, has first down yardage, is spilled across the 20-yard line by R.J. Cobb. Another first down for the Raiders. They're in Steel territory.
Extended stay hotels. First down.
Brent Williams, offensive coordinator, gets the play into Brian Randall from Steel territory at the 20. He'll have Antoine Williams going in forward motion on the right side. He'll take a deep drop. Randall to throw across the middle. Has Williams. He goes down to one knee outside the 10-yard line and is touched there by Gladell Brutus. And he does not quite have first down yardage as he came back for the ball a little bit. A 9-yard completion, 2nd and 1 coming up. Clock ticking, under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Raiders down by a point. Red will be by himself to the near side, coming in motion. Randall under center, looks for Red, fires to the end zone, finds Red, touchdown Raiders! Well, when you need a touchdown, there's no better man to look for than big number 2, Red Thompson. That time he came in motion. They had the side cleared out for him on the left. He was one-on-one down the sideline. Randall fired it to him just inside the pylon. He made the catch across the goal line and made his 3rd touchdown reception of the evening. There's a flag on the play, and they're conferring with the Steel as to whether they want to take the penalty on the extra point or put it in the vault for after the kickoff. We'll get the call from the referee.
Number 2, taunting. That 10-yard penalty will be assessed on the play just after the kickoff.
Taunting penalty against Red Thompson after the touchdown, so they'll put it in the vault and mark it off after the kickoff. So the extra point from the 10-yard line as usual for Chris Seeger. Snap down, kick up, and the kick is good.
Seeger's kick is up, and it is good. Back on top. 27.
So the Raiders move 45 yards in 4 plays, get in the end zone, and take the lead right back. It's now 27-21 Raiders. .5:37 left in the first half. Plenty of time. And the Steel, of course, after the kickoff return, will have extra yards walked off because of that taunting penalty called on Red Thompson after the touchdown. So that call, of course, not popular with the pretty good contingent assembled here at the Coliseum. But Red made himself a few friends, throwing the ball into the crowd and enjoying himself. Why not? He's scored 3 touchdowns in the first half alone. 5:37 left to go in the first half. Timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout as well and be back after this. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football. Chris Seeger will kick it off for the Raiders. Keon Lattimore stands in the end zone about 2 yards deep. Kick a high, short one. Lattimore approaches, takes it just outside the goal line. Runs to his left, gets around the 10-yard line to the 15, stumbles a bit but keeps his footing. Down to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, steal. Keon Lattimore shows his speed. That's why they call him Lightning in the Thunder and Lightning duo. And he takes it all the way back 50 yards for a steal touchdown. So we haven't seen that much from Keon Lattimore, the highly touted half-brother of Ray Lewis and former Maryland Terrapin. But that time he made one move, one brief cut about the 15-yard line, and that's when he even stumbled on the turf a little bit. But he recovered very quickly and showed his speed all the way down the field, taking it into the end zone. And on the extra point, which is good by Kamei, it's now a 1-point lead for the Steel, 28-20. Remember, there's still a penalty in the vault against the Raiders. So because that kickoff return went for a touchdown, once the Raiders return the upcoming kickoff from the Steel, they're going to get it marked off against them. And with that in mind, it's an ideal time for Kamei to go for an Uno, because even if he misses it and it's a touchback to the 20, the penalty takes that back to the 10-yard line. And it's still a pretty decent field position for the Steel defense. We'll see what Rod Miller, their coach, and company decide to try. And if anything, the Trenton Steel look like something far removed from an expansion team playing the first game in franchise history. Tonight they've gone toe-to-toe with the Raiders. Currently have that 1-point lead, 28-27. A few hiccups along the way offensively for Trenton, but can't argue with the results. A short kickoff comes down at the goal line to Larry Williams. He is hit and brought down, moved backwards inside the 10-yard line by Damon Harrison, and Chris Pollard busting it downfield for the Steel. So the ball's marked at the 9-yard line. They haven't walked off the penalty yet. And it doesn't seem like they're going to. So either the referees forgot all about it, or the touchdown return by Keon Lattimore negated it. Hard to believe that a positive play for your team negates a penalty that you're owed, but either way, it's 1st and 10 for the Raiders from their 9-yard line. Red and forward motion. Randall back to throw. This side, caught by Antoine Williams. Spins to the wall, and he's brought down, making contact with the wall, but the 15-yard line. The ball was pried loose, but the whistle had already blown. Six-yard completion on the stop route from Randall to Antoine Williams. 2nd and 4 for the Raiders. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Raiders down by a point. And the difference in this game so far is a Chris Seeger missed extra point after the Raiders' second touchdown. Randall talking to Red, sending him out to the right where he is on the line. Antoine Williams goes in forward motion on that side. Randall back to throw, gets away from some pressure, fires down the field, and it's incomplete just off the hands of Antoine Williams. He had a step on his man, Gladell Brutus, just couldn't quite squeeze the pigskin down inside the 5-yard line. 3rd and 4 coming up for the Raiders. These Raiders receivers seeing single coverage by the Steel, and for the most part tonight have been able to get behind that coverage. That time Randall put it on the money, but it was Williams that couldn't squeeze it. 3rd down and 4 for the Raiders. it'll be Rodney Landers going in motion, but we've got a timeout first. Play clock was winding down, and the Raiders called their first timeout of the first half. 3:28 to go. Raiders down by a point, 28-27. Back and forth game. As I mentioned, this Steel defense has gotten a stop. Their special teams unit has gotten a stop as well on the fumbled kickoff. The Raiders have gotten 3 stops, forcing 3 field goal attempts by the Steel, but when all is said and done, at least at this point, it's the Steel holding that 1-point lead, 28-27. So the field goal's adding up for Trenton, and Uno thrown in there as well. A Chris Seeger missed extra point. And the Steel have that 1-point advantage as we're in the final 3.5 minutes of the first half. A couple hiccups for the Raiders late in the first quarter offensively, with that fumble kickoff, with the field goal attempt that got blocked. But it's been 2 touchdowns since for this Raiders offense. And now on third down, they need to convert here. Red Thompson in forward motion. Under center is Randall. 3-step drop, fires far side. Caught out there by Rodney Landers. And towards midfield, not quite going to get there as Cobb pushes him into the wall. But it's plenty for the first down at the 24-yard line. And the Raiders move the chains. Nine-yard completion on 3rd and 4. 1st and 10 for the Raiders from a yard inside midfield as they go from right to left here in the second quarter. Final 3 minutes of it. Raiders with the ball and moving. Red Thompson in forward motion. Randall, 5-step drop. Throws deep down the middle looking for Red, but he threw it a little bit too far and it went over the back wall out of the end zone. Flag down in the backfield. Holding call against the Raiders. And one defender for the Steel was upended as he tried to get back and put pressure on Brian Randall in the pocket. Not sure that was the hold if they saw it somewhere else on that offensive line. But they are going to walk off 10 yards against the Raiders and make it 1st down and 20 from the 14-yard line. It's been a fairly penalty-free game. The dead ball call on Red after his last touchdown and an illegal defense are about the only 2 calls we've seen. There was a motion penalty earlier, holding call on the Raiders here, making it 1st and 20. Williams going to come around from right to left and join the other 2 receivers on this side. Randall deep drop, sets up, has time, fires long over the middle, and Red is hit, and that's going to be pass interference. R.J. Cobb leveled Red Thompson as he was running across the field down near the 8-yard line. Flag came out immediately, and the Raiders are going to get that penalty back and then some. As you might have been able to hear the anticipation from the crowd as Red had to step on his man. The ball getting floated back to him by Brian Randall. But R.J. Cobb there to level the boom and make sure that Red at least didn't burn him again on this play and get back in the end zone. So a 10-yard penalty for pass interference makes it 1st and 10 once again, back at the 24-yard line. And we'll kind of start from scratch from this spot on the field. 1:50 and counting in the first half. 7 seconds on the play clock. Red Thompson shifts to his left, comes in forward motion left side. Randall back to throw, looking at Red, now fires right for Landers, and it is incomplete. Landers dove for it, almost hauled it in, but it hit the turf as he rolled. Gladell Brutus might have gotten a hand on it, might have disrupted that catch just a little bit. And he was down on the turf for a second, holding his hand or his wrist, but he's up and back in the defensive huddle now for the Steel. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. And they'll be able to take this clock down to the 1-minute warning. Clock stops with 1 minute to go in each half, and different timing rules go into effect. There's essentially a running clock during the half, but inside of 1 minute, the clock will stop on first downs, on incomplete passes, and give the offenses a chance to run more plays, get a few possessions in back and forth in the last minute as well. The entire Raiders offense huddled up near the 15-yard line with offensive coordinator Brent Williams. Looking for their third straight touchdown. They've had the ball twice in the second quarter, scored both times. Once on a 6-play, 30-yard drive. Brian Randall found Red Thompson from 5 yards out for that score. Their next possession was a 4-play, 45-yard drive. Again, Randall to Red for the score, this time from 11 yards out. Gave the Raiders a lead of 27-21. But then Keon Lattimore took the kickoff back 50 yards to put the steal back up by a point. That's where we stand now, 28-27 Trenton. 1 minute to go in the first half. And the Raiders have second and 10 at the 24-yard line. Rodney Landers in forward motion. Randall to throw. This side looking for Red. He's got it. He dives across the 15 and has the first down.
Gets it to the 15-yard line. That's enough for an extended stay Hotels. First down.
Randall to Red. You'll hear it a lot this season. That a 12-yard connection between the two. And a first down for the Raiders in Steel territory down to their 14. Changer set. Clock is now running. Under 40 seconds to go. Randall motions Red out to the right. Now he zigzags back to the left and stays on the line. Randall to throw looking far side. He has Antoine Williams. He's met immediately and pushed backwards. His forward progress takes him inside the 10. Clock still going. 23 seconds to go. And the Raiders are going to call timeout. 19 seconds showing on the clock by the time they get it in and the referees acknowledge it. They're actually going to give Antoine Williams forward progress to the 8-yard line. So it'll be Raiders ball there. Second down and 4 coming out of this timeout. And the Raiders want to milk some clock. Of course, get into the end zone above all, but really not leave any time for the steal. After they score, still have 2 timeouts left. You don't want to give them even just a few seconds to get the ball back and run a play or two. So with 19 seconds left, Brent Williams has his offense huddled up. You got to think he's got a couple of plays called right now, depending on what happens on this first play. Of course, if it goes incomplete, the clock will stop. They'll be able to huddle up again if they want to and take their time. But if it's complete and shy of the first down, they're going to have to either hustle or call their last timeout. Just one timeout left for the Raiders. Second and 4 from the 8-yard line. Red Thompson shifts out of the backfield, moving left towards the line. Randall looks left, fires for Red. It's over his head. Goes into the Raiders' sideline, team area down there. Third down coming up. 16 seconds left, so plenty of time for 2 plays here on this set of downs. If they don't get a first down, they can get a first down without scoring down inside the 4-yard line. Big call here on third down from the 8-yard line. Landers in forward motion with a head of steam. Randall looks in his direction, fires in the end zone. Flag is down. The pass was incomplete. Landers slipped. The pass was to his right as he looked back towards Randall. But we will check the flag, which came down in the offensive backfield.
Holding, 77, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay to down.
That's Dwayne Delaney getting called for the hold. But the Steel are going to decline it. So the Steel are going to force the Raiders to make a decision. 4th down and about 4 yards, maybe a long 4, short 5 from the 8-yard line. 11 seconds to go in the first half. Raiders down by a point, 28-27. So they could go for a relatively short field goal and try to take the lead into the locker room at halftime Instead, the offense is staying out there, but we have a stoppage. And the Raiders have called their third and final timeout just to make sure everyone's on the same page on this fourth down play. So a big decision so far in this game. The Raiders, again, it'd be about a 23-yard field goal for Seeger. The Raiders would then have to kick off and give the Steel a chance maybe to run it back and run one play. But otherwise, the Raiders would have a 2-point lead in the final seconds before halftime. They're going to leave the field goal out of play, though. James Fuller making the decision to go for it on 4th down and 4. And again, they can get a first down. They don't have to score. They are at the 8-yard line. Coming out of timeout. Landers to the right on the line. Thompson to the left on the line. Williams outside to the left. Going to come in forward motion. Randall under center, drops back 5 steps. Look to his left. Fires in the end zone, and it's way too high over the head of Red Thompson, who is in the back corner in that vicinity. So on 4th down, the Raiders fire incomplete. Turn it over on downs to the Steel with 7 seconds left. Now, under 1-minute timing rules, the Steel, or the offense generally, with less than a minute to go in each half, must gain positive yardage, otherwise the clock will stop. So the Steel cannot just take a knee and go to halftime here. They have to at least gain an inch to keep the clock running. Keon Lattimore is in the backfield. Namath under center. Looks to throw. Has time. Moves to his right a little bit. Steps up in the pocket. Fires across the middle. And it's caught on one knee. Keels is over there. They whistle him down. He was not touched. His knee was down. He was not touched. He got up and then was hit and brought down near the 25. The Steel tried to call timeout. And there's confusion. The Steel coaching staff is trying to get an explanation from the referees. The referees themselves are huddling up and trying to get a ruling.
That's a half.
And they've called halftime. So either way, whether he was down by contact or not, the whistle blew. They didn't get a timeout in time. Just 7 seconds left before that play. And Namath was scrambling. He stepped up in the pocket and did take a few seconds before he even threw the ball. So it is a completion from Namath to O'Derek Turner, the receiver on that play. Not sure if they marked him down to finally have the 20 or the 25. We'll call it a 17-yard completion out to midfield just to put a cap on the first half. So we are at intermission. The score is Trenton 28, Richmond 27. We'll take a timeout. Be back after this. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football. First and 10, Trenton, their own 12-yard line. Namath has one man going in motion to his left. Looks to this side. Huff all by himself. Has a lot of room. Takes it across midfield. Is finally dragged down inside the 25 by Larry Williams. Motion man cleared things out on that side. Huff basically took a step forward and stopped. Caught the pass on the quick out from Namath. And then ran down to the Raiders' 22-yard line. First and 10 for the steal on the Raiders' side of midfield. Namath, a quick drop, quick out to the right side. Caught again by Huff, and he is spilled, brought down into the 10-yard line as he rolls forward after Stephen Kaysen tripped him up. They'll mark him down just at the 10-yard line. So 2 plays, 2 first downs for Trenton, and now it's goal to go from just at the 10-yard line. 2 men to the left, though Derek Turner is 10 yards deep. He'll go in forward motion in the slot on the left. Namath back to throw. Throws in the end zone, and it's incomplete. A flag coming down. Derek Turner, the intended receiver. Larry Williams face guarding him, had a hand up, and this will probably be pass interference on Williams. Pass interference in the end zone. The ball will be taken all the way down to the 2-yard line. First and goal there for the steal. And they've wasted no time in getting down the field after a big hit on the kickoff return. They're knocking on the door. 2 yards away from pay dirt and extending their 1-point lead. Fans starting to make some noise for this defense. Down in the left-hand end zone. Namath keeps it, is stood up, falls down near the goal line, and he's in. Touchdown steal. Namath got about a yard first, kept his legs moving for a second effort, was brought down, and from here, from the angle up here, it looked like his helmet was across the goal line, but he was holding the ball down, of course, in his midsection. Not sure I ever saw the ball cross the plane of the goal line, but the referee did, and it's a 2-yard touchdown run for Namath. And the Steel are up 34-27. Craig Kamei on for the extra point. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it's straight through. Kamei still perfect for 4 on extra points. And that makes it 35-27. Steel up by 8. So they hold serve to start the second half. Moved on the field on a couple of nice-looking passes. Pass interference penalty, set him up with a 2-yard line. Namath did the rest. Took it himself straight up the gut for a run as the officials were still talking with the Raiders coaches, letting them know exactly what went down. I think both on the pass interference penalty, which was pretty cut and dry. He was bodying him up in the end zone, and also on that touchdown call. With a lot of bodies around Namath, the offensive and defensive lines making it tough to see exactly where that football was. After they umpiled everybody, they did give him the touchdown, and with 12:41 to go in the third quarter, the Raiders are down 8, and they have some work to do. Larry Williams, the deep man for the Raiders. Kamei has the ball teed up in the center of the field on his goal line. He approaches, puts his leg into it. It's high, but going to come down in play. Williams from 3 yards deep, heads up the middle of the field, and dives forward shy of the 10-yard line. As coming down the field like a ton of bricks was Craig Hayward Jr. And Williams almost took him head on. Took it to the 10-yard line. First down for the Raiders at their own 10. Familiar trio, Antoine Williams, Rodney Landers, and Red Thompson, the receiving core for the Raiders. Brandon Isaiah, the fullback. Brian Randall under center. Motions Red out to the left and straight ahead. Quick drop, fires to the left side, complete to Rodney Landers, gets around one man and takes it to midfield before it takes 3 Steel defenders to bring him down. Nice pitch and catch from Randall to Landers for 15 yards. First and 10 Raiders from midfield. 11:45, clock ticking, third quarter. Raiders down by 8. 2 men to the right, Landers and Williams on the line. Red Thompson in motion, looking for him. He's got it. Touchdown, Raiders. It is that easy. Red Thompson in forward motion between the 2 other receivers. Gave a little hip swivel down in his route, cut across the field. Randall saw him all the way. Another pitch and catch, the 4th touchdown from Randall to Thompson tonight. And the Raiders now 2 points down, and the offense is out there to go for 2. Same personnel out there for the Raiders for the two-point conversion. Bunch formation to the short right side with Thompson in the backfield. Now he'll motion to the right side. Everyone to the right. Randall looking to the right. Backs up, getting chased. Sets his feet, fires, and it's knocked down, incomplete, and a flag comes down. Brandon Isaiah, the intended receiver. R.J. Cobb knocked the ball to the turf, but made contact with Isaiah on his way to the ball. He went through the receiver to deflect the ball, and it's pass interference against the steal. Another chance coming up for the Raiders on the two-point conversion. Half the distance down to the 1 yard line. So Rodney Landers comes out and Aaron Alexander comes in. They're getting a little height on the field now. Alexander is 6'5", and he'll be split out all the way wide to the right. Williams to the left. Thompson in the backfield for now, motioning to the left. Randall looks to the right, now is in trouble. He's hit, he's brought down. First man back there was Mike Bibbs. A couple of the defenders wrapped up. Brought down Randall behind the line of scrimmage. He was looking probably for a fade to Alexander. That wasn't open, and by the time Randall spun and was looking for his check down, it was too late, and he was hit. So the two-point conversion no good, and the score remains Steel 35, Raiders 33. Well, the good news is the Raiders moved down the field 40 yards in 2 plays for a quick touchdown to answer the Steel's touchdown on their first possession of the second half. The bad news is they went for 2 and didn't make it. So it's still 35-33 Steel. Lots of time left on this one. 11:26 showing on the clock in the third quarter. Of course, for their part, the Steel moved 38 yards in 3 plays on their first possession. So the second half starting much like the first with offensive fireworks and touchdowns on both sides. So a little bit of the air taken out of the balloon here in the Coliseum. The fans just starting to get revved up and making some noise after that long touchdown from Randall to Red. But the failed two-point conversion tempered it a little bit, but the Raiders to kick it off now, and it's Aaron Alexander to kick it off. No sign of Chris Seeger down there. Alexander puts a toe into it. It bounces at the 5, dives along the sideline, goes between the legs of Keon Lattimore. He finally picks it up, brings it out, is hit once. Second man hits him across the 5 yard line and brings him down against the near side wall. Now some more pushing and shoving. Leak and Hall for the Raiders involved with one of the Steel players. That's Pollard getting pulled away by his teammates. Darius Leak, special teamer for the Raiders, got down there, got to mix it up a little bit. Vince Hall came to his aid a little bit, as Chris Pollard was the Steel player involved on the other side. So the squib kick does its job. 1st and 10 from their own 7 yard line. Steel have 2 men to the right, one of them jogs ahead in forward motion. One man to the left. Namath quick drop, fires to the right, and it's caught in space. Hit made, and eventually he's brought down across the 15 yard line all the way down to the 18 yard line. Junior Rosegreen up off the bottom of the pile for the Raiders on coverage. Turner on the catch for the Steel, and he does have a Trenton first down. It is at the 18 yard line. 11-yard completion. Namath 3 for 3 so far in the second half in the early goings. On first down, Turner goes in motion on the near side. Namath back to throw, steps up, fires complete to Turner across midfield inside the 20. Raiders trying to strip the ball. Stephen Kaysen going for it, but Turner is sure-handed. He hangs on to it, and he signals for the first down at the Raiders' 19-yard line.
But tonight,
trying to get a call from the official. Unsportsmanlike conduct is the signal. I didn't even see a flag, let alone the penalty.
It's a timeout, so it's time to turn it over to our game day crew.
I don't think he had his arms outstretched like the unsportsmanlike call, but I think he was just indicating that the clock was going to be stopped. So we've got a stoppage in play, 9:58 remaining in the third quarter. Steel up by 2, 35-33. We'll take a quick timeout and return after this. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football. Welcome back to the Coliseum. 9:58 to go in the third quarter. Steel up 35-33. First and 10 for Trenton from the Raiders' 19-yard line. And during that timeout, Chris Seeger was on the field kicking a few left-footed short field goals. So still not sure what the issue is with Seeger. He was not able to make that last kickoff. Now to the throw. Nemeth has time. Looking over the middle. He has his man complete inside the 9-yard line. Close to first down yardage. Dan Huff makes the catch and goes down just at the line he needed to make. It's a first down for the Steel. First and goal for the Steel. They'll go from the Raiders' 9-yard line. Looking to go up by 2 possessions. Raiders defense needs a stop here. And Nemeth has had time all half long. They haven't really gotten to him yet. He has time now. Now he's being chased. Now he rolls to his right, throws, and it's knocked down incomplete. Brent Trice jumped up, knocked the ball to the turf. Nolan Burchett got back there in Nemeth's face, forced him to roll to his right, and he threw towards the back corner of the end zone, but Trice was there to knock it down. Second and 10 for the, or second and goal, for the Steel. Harrison peels off from the right, comes behind the formation in motion to the left. Nemeth, 5-step drop, dances to his left, is getting chased, is hit, is brought down all the way back at the 19-yard line. Alan Michael Cash, Vince Hall, and Lewis Corum all combined on the sack, taking him back with a market at the 17 or 18-yard line. And just as we're calling for more Raiders defensive pressure, they get it. Sack takes him all the way back to the 18-yard line. Third down and goal from there. Loss of 9 on the sack. Raiders defense gets the call from head coach James Fuller. 2 men to the right, 1 to the left. Nemeth sends O'Derek Turner in forward motion. Has time, is hit. The ball comes loose. It's picked up by Johnson Bow, and he's brought down back on the other side of midfield. Vince Hall wrapped up Johnson Bow, who recovered the fumble. Nemeth was hit initially by Cash and Burchett again, and his helmet is off. He's picking himself up off the turf. He doesn't know what just came through the line to knock him down. So that's a loss of 8 yards. Johnson Bow recovered the fumble for the Steel, which means they'll get a chance to try a field goal. Kamei out there. They'll be marked at his own 17-yard line. That's a 41-yard attempt. And we've got a stoppage and a delay as the officials need to discuss something, and now the kicker's coming over, calling the coaches over. And it seemed like there was a conversation between James Fuller and the officials as the kickoff or the field goal team was coming on. He just was having a quick conversation with the line judge closest to him, and whatever he said caused the line judge enough pause to discuss things with the referee. They've got it sorted out with both coaches now. And after all that, we're right back where we were. Fourth and goal from their own 24-yard line. Kamei on for a 41-yard field goal attempt. Crowd making some noise. Snap is good, placement made. The kick is on the way, on the line, and straight through the uprights. Kamei bringing the leg. stop for the Raiders defense, but 3 points for the steal, and that makes it 38-33.
Just like the team they support, the Bowling Law Firm, the penalty partner at the Richmond Raiders.
Another stop for this Raiders defense, and one that was none too soon in coming, considering that the Steel had scored a touchdown their last possession and were knocking on the door this possession with a goal-to-go situation from inside the 10-yard line. But the Raiders defense stepped up big, had a pass deflection, almost an interception by Brent Trice, and then a couple of negative yardage plays, a sack and a fumble recovered by the Steel back in their own side of midfield. And Kamei saves their bacon a little bit on this possession by salvaging 3 points and extending their lead to a 5-point margin, 38-33. 6:31 to go in the third quarter, and the Raiders can still get back into the lead with a touchdown. Williams is deep to take the kickoff from Kamei, who has one Uno so far tonight, but has kept most of his other kickoffs in play. He approaches this one. This is high. This is a little deeper over the head of Williams and just shy of the uprights. Nearly had the Uno. Instead, it'll cost him 20 yards. 1st and 10 for the Raiders from the 20-yard line. Starting personnel back out there for the Raiders. Aaron Alexander was in there on the goal line, 2-point conversion situation, but it's Landers, Williams, and Thompson for the Raiders. Thompson now approaches the line. He was deep, but now he's stationary at the line of scrimmage, and it's Antoine Williams in forward motion. Randall back to throw. Sets up, pump fakes, rolls to his right, fires complete to Red Thompson across the 20. Puts a juke on and gets down near the 15-yard line before they finally make contact and push him into the wall. First down, Raiders inside Steel territory. Thompson found a gap in the defense, sat down in the middle of that zone and was wide open. Randall found him 14 yards later. 1st and 10 for the Raiders at the Steel 16-yard line. Read the lone man to the short right side. Williams again in motion to the left. Brian Randall to throw, looking for Rodney Landers. He has him. He cuts across the field, diving for the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown, Raiders! Landers, a nice catch and run. Making the catch on the run, dodging through traffic, avoiding a defender. And as he was hit, he dove for the goal line, stretched the ball across, and got in for 6. First touchdown pass to somebody other than Red Thompson for the Raiders today. A 16-yarder to Rodney Landers. And the Raiders are lining up to go for 2 again. And again, Aaron Alexander is checked into the game. He's split out to the right. Thompson in motion going to the left. Then to the throw. And the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Good anticipation by Andrews. Mike Andrews for the Trenton Steel read the fade all the way because Randall was looking for Aaron Alexander, the 6'5" receiver to the right. He moved to his left, jumped up, got a hand on it, and knocked the pass down. So the Raiders up by a point, stay up by a point. It's 39-38 with 5:23 to go in the third quarter. So again, good news, bad news for the Raiders on that drive. The good news is a touchdown. The bad news, another failed 2-point conversion. Going for 2 because there's really no kicker left. Chris Seeger hasn't been available in the second half at all. I don't see him on the Raiders sideline anywhere. Could be underneath getting treatment. Could be underneath just packing it in for the night, depending on what exactly happened to him in that first half late. We saw him come out during a timeout recently trying to kick left-footed. Obviously, they didn't like what they saw there. So Aaron Alexander will again handle the kickoff duties for the Raiders. And this time, the return men are up. The kick, an end-over-end one, drives the return man back, but Lattimore catches it on the fly inside the 5-yard line, puts on a stutter step, makes a cut, gets across the 15, gets across the 20, gets across midfield. It's finally brought down, dragging a few Raiders with him. Larry Williams and Vince Hall finally able to make contact and keep contact with the speedy Keon Lattimore. A good return for him, taking it down to the Raiders' 23-yard line. Raiders up by a point, looking for another defensive stop. Got one on the last possession, forcing the Steel back a couple of times on sacks and fumbles. Kamei made the field goal. Raiders now up by a point after their just completed touchdown drive. 30 yards in 2 plays. Timeout on the field. We'll go ahead and take one as well. 5:13 to go, third quarter. Raiders up by a point. Stay tuned. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football. Back to the action here at the Richmond Coliseum. Tim Hurley with you. In a 1-point game, the Raiders up 39-38 over Trenton. 1st and 10 for the Steel. One man going in forward motion. Namath back to throw. Rolls to his right, backpedaling, throwing out of the backfield. Lattimore makes the catch, and is brought down from behind near the 20-yard line. Burchett tracked him down as Lattimore was trying to shuffle step and make a move. 3-yard completion to the fullback. 2nd and 7 for the Steel. Damon Harrison split out to the right by himself, and he'll go in forward motion over there. Namath under center, drops back, is hit as he throws, and it goes incomplete. Looking for Antoine Rivera, but Darius Leak was closing on him really fast, knocked him to the turf, and Namath's pass goes incomplete. 3rd down, 7 yards to go for the Steel. Another big play here for this Raiders defense. Under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Raiders up by a point, looking for a stop. Harrison again by himself to the right. Antoine Rivera and O'Derrick Turner to the left near side, and Turner going in forward motion. Namath to throw, is hit and brought down back behind midfield. Again, it's Darius Leak cutting through, wrapping up around the waist, and sacking E.J. Namath, who is now having words with one of his receivers, saying, "You didn't run the right route. You didn't do what I thought you were going to do." Damon Harrison and E.J. Namath having some words between teammates on that failed 3rd down play. Loss of 6 on the sack. So again from the 24-yard line, the Steel face a 4th down, and again they bring in Craig Kamei for a field goal, and it'll be another 41-yard attempt. A 3-and-out for this Raiders defense. Again, moving the Steel backwards, forcing the field goal attempt, which is on the way. Definitely long enough, definitely high enough, and between the uprights, another clutch field goal for the South African Craig Kamei. And the lead once again shifts over to the Trenton Steel, 41-39. But the Raiders will trade touchdowns for field goals all night long. 2 touchdowns for the Raiders this half, only 1 for the Steel to go along with 2 field goals. Raiders looking to respond and take the lead back. 2:50 to go in the third quarter. Raiders now down by 2. So the last 2 sets of downs for the Steel have not gone well at all. First couple resulted in a touchdown on their first possession and movement of the ball down the field on their second. But then the Raiders, something clicked, they turned it on, something happened. But that defense started digging in its heels and tilting the field back the opposite direction. Moving the Steel backwards on 3 straight plays. 2 possessions ago, backwards on the last couple of plays. This possession, forcing field goals both times. And now setting up the offense to go back ahead if they can get in the end zone on this possession. Rodney Landers is the deep man this time for the Raiders. Kamei approaches, kicks it high and short. Landers comes up, has a beat on it, catches it at the 4-yard line, runs to his left, gets around the block, around the 10-yard line, and pushed down, tackled along the wall near the 14-yard line. Chris Pollard on coverage for the steal. They'll mark him at the 14-yard line. First down there for the Raiders. Randall and Brent Williams communicating for the play call here on the first snap of the third possession of the second half for this Raiders offense. 2 men left, that's Williams and Thompson. Landers alone to the right, that's the wide side of the field. Red Thompson in forward motion. Randall pump fakes, steps up in the pocket, is going to run, gets around the 15-yard line, dives ahead before the cavalry gets there for the steal defense, but still made something out of nothing and got up to the 19-yard line.
Picks up about 5, second and 5.
5-yard scramble on the Randall keeper. Second down and 5 for the Raiders. Under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. And again, Randall was looking for Red Thompson. He pump faked it to Landers, looking for Thompson, then deep. Coverage was there, though, and the pocket was collapsing. So now it's second and 5 for the Raiders. Thompson again in forward motion on the left side. Quick throw over the middle to Red. He's got it at the 20-yard line. Is hit brought down to the 19. 3 Steel defenders converge. But it's a first down for the Raiders. Red Thompson takes it down to the Steel 19-yard line. 12 yards from Randall to Red. We approach the final minute of the third quarter. Raiders down by a deuce. Driving with the ball. Red Thompson now shifts behind the formation. Handoff goes to B.I. Isaiah takes it to the right side before he's brought down. Tyrell Zimmerman dragged him down from his defensive line position. It's a little bit of a change of pace for the Raiders. A quick handoff to the fullback Isaiah. And he gains 3 down to the 16. 40 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Now 12 seconds on the play clock. The Raiders will have to take at least one more snap here in the third. Rodney Landers backs up to the 25. Runs ahead in forward motion on the far left side. Randall steps up, pump fakes, has to run. He's brought down. Looked like Eric Bullock got a hand around his foot, and that stood him up, slowed him up enough before assistance came from the rest of the Steel defense. And Randall got a yard, falling forward to the 15-yard line. The final seconds of the third quarter will tick away. It'll be third down and 6 for the Raiders when we come back. 3 quarters in the books. Raiders down by 2. It's Steel 41, Raiders 39. We'll have the fourth quarter after this. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football. Welcome back to the Richmond Coliseum. Tim Hurley with you as we're just about set to start the fourth quarter. Steel outscored the Raiders 13-12 in the third, in large part because the Raiders don't have a kicker anymore. Seeger is injured. They've had to go for 2 on both of their touchdowns, missed it both times. So even though they have scored 2 touchdowns to the Steel's 1, a couple of field goals for Trenton have enabled them to extend their lead, which was 1 point at halftime. It's 2 points now. So still anybody's game, still an entire quarter left to go, but a big third down coming up for the Raiders. It's 3rd and 6 from the Trenton 15-yard line. Last couple of plays to end that third quarter, we saw Brian Randall finally get a little bit of pressure from that Steel defense. He had to roll out a couple of times, tuck and run a couple of times, scramble with the football. So the Steel defense finally able to penetrate a little bit and just make things a little more uncomfortable for Randall. The O-line will try to keep him comfortable on this big third down play. Of course, everyone knows the Raiders are in 2-down territory with no kicker available. Red spins around, coming in motion to the near left side. Randall back to throw. Fires for the end zone, looking for Red, and it's knocked down incomplete. Good coverage by Gladell Brutus. He was right in front of Red. Saw the pass the whole way. Got two hands on it and knocked it to the turf.
That makes it a 4th and 6.
So the Raiders knew they were going to have to go for it. Called that play with the intention of going for it on 4th and 6. And now Brent Williams giving that call to Brian Randall. He takes it to the huddle. Big play in the game coming up for the Raiders. 4th down, 6 yards to go. All three men split out to the left for right now. They direct traffic a little bit. Put Red and Rodney on the line. Antoine Williams in forward motion. Randall back to throw. Fires, and it's caught by Antoine Williams across the line to gain. He's got the first down along the near sideline. A great catch. Nice concentration by Williams to catch that on the run. And it's a 1st down and goal for the Raiders. They needed 6, they got 7. And it's 1st and goal for the Raiders from the 8-yard line. Landers and Williams to the right. Red Thompson now motions out to join them on that side. Handoff to Isaiah, running up the middle. Spins, brought down around the waist. He'll gain a couple. Mike Andrews on the tackle for the Trenton Steel. Gain of 2 to the 6. Couple of carries for Isaiah on this drive, and you never know when something might soften up in the red zone with a linebacker maybe dropping back to help in coverage. But that time it was a linebacker. That was Andrews from his linebacker spot making the play on Brandon Isaiah. So 2nd and goal from the 6. 2 men to the left. Red Thompson going all by himself to the wide right side. Randall back to throw. Pump fakes. Looks for the end zone. And it's incomplete. Red was the first man he looked towards. The check down was Antoine Williams. He wants a pass interference penalty, saying he was grabbed running across the end zone, but no flag is down. Pass goes incomplete. Brings up 3rd and goal. And again, it's 2-down territory for the Raiders. 2 chances for a touchdown. This one comes from 6 yards out. Landers and Williams to the wide right side. Red Thompson for now is behind the formation. He jogs out to the right side, goes in forward motion between the other 2 receivers. Randall has time, looks for Red, overthrows him. It's over his head, over the back wall of the end zone. Thompson might have had a step on Gladell Brutus. Randall couldn't quite find him, though. Brings up 4th and goal. Another big play for the Raiders in this game. Down by 2, 41-39. Under 12 minutes to go in the ball game. Big play for the Raiders here. Landers and Williams to the right. Thompson motions out that way as well. Brandon Isaiah, the fullback. Randall back to throw. Sets up. Fires in the end zone. And it's caught by Antoine Williams. Touchdown Raiders! Penalty flag down in the end zone. Great play call by Brent Williams, sending 2 men across the field on that route, right one in front of the other. It was Antoine Williams in front. Randall found him. We'll see if it stands, though.
On the defense, that penalty be refused. Touchdown.
It's a holding penalty against the Steel, of course declined. The touchdown counts. A 4th down and goal pass from Randall to Antoine Williams, and the Raiders are in the lead. There is a Steel player injured down on the turf. So on the last possession, Rodney Landers caught the first touchdown pass by a receiver not named Red Thompson for the Raiders in this game. And now it's Antoine Williams getting his first touchdown reception of the game. Randall has now spread the ball around to all 3 of his primary receivers. They've each gotten at least 1 touchdown. And the injured player gets up. It's walking off under his own power. That's Mike Bibbs, now jogging off the field with a member of the medical staff. 8-play, 36-yard drive for the Raiders. A couple of big-time conversions down the stretch in that drive. They get the touchdown to go up 45-41 with the 2-point conversion coming up. The whole team huddled up around Brent Williams. And it's the same personnel, no Aaron Alexander this time. Williams and Landers to the right, Thompson in the backfield with Isaiah. Red now motions to the right side, goes between the other two men. Randall back to throw, looks for Isaiah out of the backfield, and it's tipped, it's incomplete. A lineman down in the end zone too. Dwayne Delaney looking to catch that pass, but it was broken up. Brent Williams emptying the playbook. They flooded Isaiah and Delaney out to the left side. Isaiah out of the backfield, Dwayne Delaney, of course, from the line as an eligible tight end. But that pass alertly tipped away, so the score remains 45-41. Raiders up by 4. And with the touchdown and field goal dance going back and forth this quarter, that means that another stop by the Raiders and a field goal by the Steel will not give Trenton the lead. The Raiders have that in their back pocket as they look for a third straight defensive stop. 11:27 to go, fourth quarter, and the Raiders up by 4. It's the biggest lead for the Raiders since they were up 27-21 late in the second quarter. Right before that 50-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Keon Lattimore. We'll see what kind of kickoff strategy the Raiders employ this time and who actually is going to do the kicking. Again, there's no Aaron Alexander on the field. Doesn't seem to be a T on the field either. The clock is winding. Play clock down to 4 and 3. And this is going to run out. The Raiders don't call timeout. They're going to get a delay of game penalty. And finally, Alexander comes running down the field. He'll do the kicking, and someone's got to come off. Landers communicating with Junior Rosegreen, who now comes off the field. And Alexander didn't even bring a tee with him. He's motioning back to the bench. I need a tee. Brian Randall chucks one down. What a great pass from Randall to Alexander with a kicking tee. One of the best throws we've seen Brian Randall make all night. He's made some good ones. So Alexander has a tee. The ball's on it, and Aaron Alexander will kick it off. Keon Lattimore stands at the 4-yard line, and we're set to go. Alexander approaches. The kick comes down just outside the 20. It's caught on the fly by Chris Pollard, and he falls forward across the 20. More pushing and shoving after the kickoff. A couple of these guys on special teams just do not like each other. But the short kickoff, fielded cleanly, and good field position for the Steel. They'll start at the Raiders' 18-yard line. Of course, they started at the Raiders' 23-yard line last time and went 3 and out. And now with the penalty, that delay of game penalty moves the ball down to the 13. Two men right, one left. That's Damon Harrison to the far side, going now in forward motion by himself. Namath the throw, fires this side. It's caught. Tackle made immediately by Rosegreen. Dan Huff, the receiver, inside the 10, down near the 8.
Picks up about 4. 2nd and 6. And our backs are against the wall now. We've got the lead. We want to get the
Make it 2nd down and 5 from the 8-yard line.
We want our defense to come up big this time, don't we? Or maybe only 1.
2nd and 5 for the Steel. Turner and Huff extending positions on the far side. Huff now backs up and comes to the near side. Namath looks to throw. Back corner end zone, incomplete. Junior Rosegren on coverage again. The pass was also a little high. Not sure that Derek Turner could have come down with it even if Rosegren wasn't there. But Rosegren did get into him a little bit, knocked the pass away. And it's 3rd down for Trenton. 3rd and 5, and as we go under 10 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter, being down by 4, you've got to wonder if Rob Miller is thinking that they're now in 4-down territory that's close to the end zone. 3rd down and 5, 2 men left. Huff going forward, motion on that side. We've got movement and a flag. And Steele pointing towards the Raiders. Steele coaches pointing towards the Raiders. Looks like it might have been offsides against the Raiders. If so, it was against the Raiders. Alan Michael Cash jumped. And we'll see if this gives them a 1st down. Not quite sure if from the previous spot they were within 5 yards. And they're going to be almost a yard short of the 1st down. 5-yard penalty. It was 3rd and evidently a little more than 5. So now it's 3rd down and about 1 yard to go from the 4-yard line. 2 men left. 1 to the right. That's Harrison by himself to the near side. Huff now backed up. Comes behind the formation. Joins Harrison on the right. Namath back to throw. Fires end zone. Knocked away. Incomplete. Junior Rosegren on coverage again. He blanketed Derek Turner. Knocked the ball away. And it's 4th down decision time for the Steel. Offense is still on the field. Looks like they're going to go for it. Big play in this game for the Raiders defense. Time called by the Steel. Take their first timeout of the second half. 8:55 to go. 4th and 1 coming up from the 4-yard line. They can get a 1st down without scoring. But they're going to huddle up and talk things over. Defensive substitution for the Raiders. Nolan Burchett coming on in place of Brent Trice. A little more beef on the field in a short yardage situation. Got to be prepared for thunder and or lightning. A couple of NFL pedigree running backs are at the Steel's disposal. Craig Hayward Jr. hasn't seen much playing time tonight. In fact, he is just now walking off the field. Keon Lattimore headed to the sideline as well. So the son and the brother of NFL past and current stars are both sitting on the bench for this 4th and 1 for the Trenton Steel. There's going to be some beef in the backfield. Namath is back there with Eric Bullock as a big guy at the running back. Turner going in motion, reversing his field. Namath takes the pass, or takes the snap, is going to run, has the 1st down, is brought down shy of the goal line. It is a 1st down for the Steel. Namath couldn't find anybody to throw to, scrambled, took it down to the 1-yard line. 3-yard gain, but he was brought down before he crossed the goal line. 1st and goal for the Steel. Same personnel for the Steel. Bullock in the backfield. He pushes Namath on the sneak. He's close to the goal line. They're going to have to unpile the players. They're saying he's down. Nothing on the gain for Namath. 2nd and goal coming up from inside the 1-yard line. Eric Bullock, usually a defensive lineman, is 6'1", 312 pounds. He's been in the backfield for these last couple of plays. On that play, he tried to give Namath a push into the end zone. Couldn't quite do it. And now it's 2nd and goal, about 2 feet away from the end zone. Another keeper. Namath tries to stick it over the goal line. Didn't get it over. Brings it down and now dives across the goal line and does get the touchdown. Well, Namath tried to go up and over the top by just sticking the ball over the goal line. He's 6'3", so he's got a pretty good wingspan, and stuck it over twice. No signal from the officials, so he pulled it back down, ran a little bit to his right, and dove for the goal line, got it across. And that makes it 47-45. Steele back in the lead with Kamei on for the extra points. To go up by 3, Kamei sticks it through. Makes it 48-45 Steele. 7:35 to go in the fourth quarter. Big stop by the defense on fourth down as far as not letting him get in the end zone, but they did have a first down they could have made, which they did. And a couple plays later, Trenton got back into the lead, getting into the end zone for just the second time in the second half. 48-45, Trenton on top by 3, 7:35 to go in the fourth quarter. We'll be back after this. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football. Welcome back to the Richmond Coliseum. Tim Hurley with you with 7:35 to go in the fourth quarter, and the Steele up 48-45 over the Raiders. A 6-play, 13-yard drive for Trenton after the short kickoff plus the delay of game penalties set him up at the Raiders' 13-yard line. Converted on fourth and short. Converted on second and goal. E.J. Namath, the keeper, took it in from a yard out. Actually, 3 straight keepers for Namath on that drive on fourth down and then the first 2 plays of the goal-to-go series. And he finally got it in. Second touchdown run for Namath tonight. He's taken it in from 2 and from 1. And it's 48-45 Steele. Of course, the field goal is out of play for the Raiders. So a 3-pointer to tie it, in all likelihood, isn't even going to be a thought for the Raiders coaching staff. Chris Seeger has been out this entire second half, unable to play. Not exactly sure why. But it's going to be up to the offense to get all the way down the field and get back into the end zone. Rodney Landers stands at his goal line to take the kickoff from Kamei, who approaches. Kicks it off, high and short. Landers has it at the 1. Gets a block at the 10, across to the 15. Another block to the 20 is brought down and wrestled across the 25-yard line by the second to last man in the Trenton Steele defense. Gladell Brutus was the man that brought him down, and Craig Kamei was the only other guy that would have had a shot if Brutus hadn't held on. Good return by Rodney Landers, taking it across midfield to the Steele 24-yard line. This is the first time all night that the Raiders will start a drive in Steele territory. First and 10 Raiders. Williams to the left, Red Thompson to the right on the line, and Landers to that side in forward motion. Randall, deep drop, steps up, pocket collapses, he runs, he's hit, gets out of that tackle, and is finally brought down near the 20. Pursuit from behind by Stephen Hickson, but a great job by Randall to scramble, make something out of nothing, and pick up 4 yards down to the 20-yard line. Randall brings the play into the huddle. Raiders facing a 2nd and 6. Down by 3, 6.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Thompson and Landers to the right. Stationary. Williams to the left in forward motion. Handoff goes to Isaiah. Runs to the left. Has a seam. Takes the second wave to bring him down. Mike Andrews on the tackle, along with Justin Famando. Longest run of the night for Isaiah. They've got him down to the 16-yard line. Gain of 4. Third down, 2 yards to go for the Raiders. You know they're in 4-down territory. On 3rd and short, all 3 receivers split out to the right. Williams now backs up. He's the closest man to the formation, and he comes to the left. Randall looks his way, fires, has him across the 10-yard line. Brutus escorts him into the wall, but a Sure-handed catch by Antoine Williams gives the Raiders first and goal inside the 10-yard line. Give him 8 on the completion. First and goal from the 8. Delaney, Stout, and Moses, the offensive line. They've been in there all night long. Randall to throw. Has time. Fires far side. Has Rodney Landers. He shakes a tackle and takes it across the goal line. Touchdown, Raiders! And Landers tosses the ball to a fan. That's going to bring a penalty flag for excessive celebration. That'll be enforced after the kickoff. But the Raiders get the touchdown and take the lead 51-48. Rodney Landers, his second straight touchdown catch. Randall has now thrown for 7 touchdowns in this game. To go for 2, same personnel, Isaiah the fullback, Williams, Landers, and Red Thompson the receivers. Thompson the motion man. Landers looking for Williams, has him in the end zone for 2. Quick stop route and a spin by Antoine Williams. Got in front of his man. He jumps on top of the wall behind the end zone. Does a little chest bumping with the fans back there. And the Raiders finally get one of those 2-point conversions. That makes it 53-48. Raiders go up by 5, 4:55 to go in the fourth quarter. And as far as the Raiders are concerned, it could be a 5-point margin, a 3-point margin, a 7-point margin. As long as they're up and up by more than 3, they've got the steal where they want them, because a field goal is, again, out of play for the Raiders for the rest of the night. They need to force the steal to get touchdowns and then still be within a touchdown themselves after any possible steal possession. Raiders offense seems to be clicking a little bit more now. They've scored 4 touchdowns this half, 2 for the steal, but still just a 5-point game. Kickoff is taken on the far side by Keon Lattimore. He is brought down inside the 10-yard line, and a flag comes down towards the end of the play, and more pushing and shoving between special teams players on both sides. Trying to get this flag sorted. As there's also one in the vault from the unsportsmanlike conduct after the penalty. Raiders pointing against the steal, so they may have just thrown away the yards they were going to get from the unsportsmanlike after the Raiders touchdown. Still discussion among the referees as to what the penalty is and how it's going to be enforced with one in the vault.
5-yard penalty to be assessed. Unsportsmanlike for throwing the ball in the stands after the touchdown. Then we had a block in the back by number 3. That 10-yard penalty to be assessed after the 5-yard.
So they're going to enforce both penalties, the unsportsmanlike on the Raiders and then a block in the back against the steal. So they walk it off 5, they walk it back 10, and after all the penalties are enforced, it's 1st and 10 for the steal from their own 8-yard line. Big defensive series for the Raiders, 4:38 to go in the ball game. Namath will send Derek Turner in forward motion. Quick drop, quick out to Huff. He's hit and escorted into the near side wall by Junior Rosegreen and Brent Trice. not a bad quick out to start things. It goes to the 12-yard line just to get the offense kind of on track a little bit here for the Trenton Steel. 2nd down and 6 for the Steel. 2 men left, 1 to the right. O'Derrick Turner, the motion man, going in forward motion on the left-hand side. Namath back to throw, steps up, was pressured, throw is short and incomplete. Larry Williams made an effort for it, but he couldn't quite get there, as there's a hand in Namath's face and maybe starting to put a little bit of pressure, making contact with him as he threw the ball. The intended receiver was well underthrown, which brings up 3rd down for the Steel. Clock ticking, 3.5 minutes to go, 4th quarter. Raiders up 53-48. 3rd down and 6 for the Steel. Raiders want to stop here. They want a turnover. They want this defense to keep it up. 2 receivers to the short right side. Now Turner backs up, and we've got a flag and a stoppage. Timeout called by the Steel. It comes with 3:10 to go. And Trenton down by 5. Gives their offense a chance to regroup a little bit and prepare for this big 3rd down play. Trenton has not been good on 3rd downs. Just 1 of 6 in the first half. They converted on 4th down on their last possession, the 4th and short. But especially on 3rd down, not a good night for this Steel defense. Of course, last week in the exhibition game against Harrisburg, the Raiders held the Stampede to 0 of 10 on 3rd down conversions. Nearly as good this week, but by far the biggest 3rd down of the game coming up right here for this Raiders defense. Alan Michael Cash getting instruction from the sideline, and James Fuller. He's made a couple of big plays on the defensive line. So has Michael Woodhouse. Coming out of timeout, we're set to go. Again, 2 men lining up to the short right side. And again, O'Derrick Turner will back up, go behind the formation over to the wide left side. Namath back to throw. Quick drop. The pass is batted up in the air and intercepted by the Raiders. And we'll have 2 guys. Nolan Burchett has the ball. Takes it down to the 4-yard line. 1st down, Raiders. A huge turnover for this Raiders defense on the biggest play of the game. The ball was tipped at the line. It went off another player, and then Nolan Burchett brought it down and rumbled to the 4-yard line. 1st and goal, Raiders. $2:57 to go. Raiders can go up by 2 possessions right here. Brent Williams taking his time to send in the play with Randall, because they also want to take some time off the clock. If you can go by 2 scores and take a couple minutes off this clock, you're in great shape. Aaron Alexander on the field with Red to the near side. Williams on the far side. And there's a snafu on the attempted handoff to Isaiah. Isaiah turned one way. Randall turned the other way and was face to back with Isaiah. Randall had to keep it, and he was twisted down on the turf, and he went down awkwardly. He is grabbing his right knee. And this crowd is in stunned silence, seeing their quarterback go down like that. A clear mix-up on the play, as Isaiah kind of zigzagged around behind Randall. Randall turned, saw Isaiah run right by him, didn't even have a chance to either play fake or hand off directly to him, so he had to take off running to his left. He was chased down from behind, and like I said, got a foot caught in the turf, went down awkwardly, and now they're looking at his right knee. A couple coaches, a couple trainers out there with him. Trenton Steel defense out there, all taking a knee. The Raiders congregating in front of their team bench, and Aaron Alexander is going to have to throw the football around a little bit because he's the backup quarterback. And the Raiders had all the momentum, the lead, the defensive stop, the interception, the goal to go, and Randall is on his back. They're still looking at that right knee. and you could almost hear a pin drop in the Coliseum. It got real loud for a second, and then as soon as they saw Randall was down, they just, almost to a man in the crowd here, held their breath, and are all hoping and praying for the best. Aaron Alexander tossing the ball, warming up as the backup quarterback. The Steel players now heading back to their bench just to gather and regroup. Randall still hasn't really moved. They're going to try to get him to sit up, and he's now standing up, but putting little to no weight on that right leg. He's being helped off the field by two men and can barely even put his right foot on the ground as he's walking off. So it seems as though he's going to be done for tonight. We're going to hope that he's not done for any longer than the rest of this game. Great night for Randall, 7 touchdowns. But now it's going to be up to backup quarterback Aaron Alexander to take this one home. 2:26 left. Raiders are up by 5, 53-48. And the Let's Go Raiders cheer coming up from the crowd, getting back behind their team, trying to encourage another score for this offense. The ball was placed back at the 8 after the sack of Brian Randall. Alexander back to throw, has time, fires to the right. It is caught by Antoine Williams, wide open, falls into the end zone. Touchdown Raiders! Welcome to the offense, Aaron Alexander. On his first play, he sets up and finds Williams all alone just outside the pylon. An 8-yard touchdown pass puts the Raiders up by 11. Antoine Williams makes his second touchdown catch of the second half. And that's a credit to the Raiders offense. Not mentally checking out, not getting down because their quarterback got injured and taken out of the game, but responding, getting out there, executing, and scoring the touchdown. Now to go for 2. Alexander under center, sends Red Thompson around to the right. He bootlegs out to the left. He's going to put a stiff arm down, stretch the ball across, reaching for the end zone. Along the near side wall, couldn't tell how far he got. Now they say no good. He was chased down from behind by Mike Bibbs. Alexander, mentioned before, is 6'5", has that wingspan, was very close to the pylon, but as he dove and kind of fell forward along the near side wall, couldn't see from up here exactly how far he got. The referee on top of things, the referee closest to it at least, said he was short. .2:19 to go. Raiders up 59-48 after the Aaron Alexander 8-yard touchdown pass to Antoine Williams. The Steel still have one timeout and the 1-minute warning, and of course the 1-minute timing rules. So enough time, if they can get their defense together and get a stop in between, for 2 possessions and a chance to come back in this game. But on the flip side, it's up to the Raiders defense here to get back out and go for another stop. Junior Rosegreen to kick it off for the Raiders. He puts a toe into it, kicks it down. It comes down in play and bounces off the back wall. Lattimore has to retreat to the end zone to pick it up, and he's hit across the 5-yard line, breaking a tackle, spins out of another, and he's hit against the wall. Whistle's blowing. I thought I heard a whistle a little farther upfield, and indeed they are going to mark him down as having made contact with the wall, and touchdown by the Raiders back inside the 15 at the 13-yard line. Heck of a kick by Junior Rosegreen. The Steel players were all up, expecting another short kick. But Rosegreen booted it over everyone's head. It hit the ground in the end zone and bounced off the back wall, so Lattimore had to go back and pick it up. Pretty good return by him, considering he brought it all the way out to the, now they're going to say 13-yard line. First down and 10 for the Steel there. Namath back to throw. Sets up in the pocket. Throws long down the near sideline. And it goes too far over everyone's head into the third row. Outside about the 5 or 8 yard line. Looking for a Derek Turner down there, but he was double covered by Junior Rosegreen and Larry Williams. Clock ticking, under a minute and a half to go. Raiders up 59-48. Defense out there trying to get the final stop that would seal this game for the Richmond Raiders. 2 men right, 1 left. Dan Huff going in forward motion for Steele on 2nd and 10. Namath the throw. Pocket collapses. He's hit, and he's brought down back at the 6-yard line. Michael Woodhouse back there with Nolan Burchett helping to wrap up. Another sack for this Raiders defense. They've come on, bookending this game in the first and fourth quarters with big-time pressures of E.J. Namath and a handful of sacks all told. We are at the 1-minute warning. Raiders up 59-48. The Lady Raiders are going to come out one last time and throw some balls into the crowd during the 1-minute warning. Raiders defense is out there. They're ready to go. They're pumped up. They know that victory is within their grasp. Get a stop here, and the offense can all but run out the clock, getting positive yardage as necessary, with the Steel holding on to just 1 timeout remaining. Third down and 17 from the 6-yard line. Namath sends Derek Turner in straight ahead forward motion. Flag comes down. Play is live. Namath pulls it down. Fires incomplete through the hands of his man on the far side. And it's caught by a fan in the front row. We'll check the penalty though. It's offsides against the Raiders. So they'll walk off 5 yards and give the Steel another chance on third down. It'll be 3rd and 12 after the penalty. Clock stopping on the incompletion and the penalty. 53 seconds to go. Steel in the huddle, feeling the pressure in the final minute of this ball game. Again, Derek Turner coming in forward motion. Namath, quick throw. This side it's tipped. It's tipped again out here, and it's incomplete. Tipped to the line, and then tipped at the point of reception. Huff, the intended receiver. Rosegreen tipped it out here, and it fell to the ground incomplete. So it's 4th and ball game for the Steel. 48 seconds to go. They need a conversion here to keep this drive alive and their hopes down 2 scores. Timeout called by the Raiders. They're going to take their first of the second half just to make sure they're all on the same page defensively, because they know that this is the play of the game right here that'll end things if they can get a stop. 48 seconds to go. 11-point lead for the Raiders. The Steel need a quick score and an onside kick. The Raiders, if they get a stop here, will have to snap it just a couple of times if they can gain forward yardage, because again, the Steel have just 1 timeout left. Another great stand here so far in this drive by the Raiders defense, moving the Steel back, getting their hands up at the line, knocking down passes, and setting up a 4th and 12. 2 men right, 1 to the left. From the 10-yard line, Namath back to throw. Has time to step up in the pocket. Fires long, looking for his man in the end zone, and he's got it. Touchdown Steel. All the way down the far sideline. Damon Harrison, a 40-yard touchdown reception. So for Namath, his first touchdown pass of the second half. It comes with 39 seconds to go and brings the Steel to within 5 points, 59-54. And this one is not over yet. The Steel are going to go for two. Try to make it a 3-point game, get the onside kick, and have that field goal to tie it in their back pocket. 2 men left. Now Harrison peels off and will join them to the left side. Beef in the backfield. Namath back to throw. Jogs to his left. Fires into the end zone. Brought down by Dan Huff. And the Steel get two. So this one just got a lot tighter. 59-56. 39 seconds to go. And it'll all depend on whose hands team can come up with the upcoming onside kick. And again, the crowd was getting loud. They could sense a defensive stop. They could taste victory on that 4th down play. But after the long touchdown from Namath to Damon Harrison and the 2-point conversion, they've quieted down a little bit and will have to get back into it once again. So the ebb and flow, the momentum going back and forth, the emotions going back and forth here in the final minutes of this 4th quarter. The stop by the Raiders on the interception, the touchdown after the injury to Brian Randall, the near stop, the sack, the 4th down and long play, then the conversion by the Steel, the long touchdown pass, and the 2-point conversion. Another exciting finish in indoor football. And it's not finished yet. 39 seconds showing on the clock. Raiders up by 3. Trenton with 1 timeout left. So if the Raiders get the ball here on the onside kick, they should be able to make it very difficult for Trenton to win. 1 man deep, that's Red Thompson. Everyone else up between the 10 and the 20 for the Raiders. And the kick is a high pooch, and Rodney Landers jumps in the air, makes the catch. Almost slipped out of his arms as he was coming down as the ball kind of shifted and fell. But the sure-handed Rodney Landers caught the ball. Long Lou's getting the crowd fired up. It's Raiders ball at the Trenton 14-yard line. Just a couple snaps and a couple of games away from salting away victory number 1 of 2011. Aaron Alexander running the huddle, welcoming Brandon Isaiah in. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Formation gets set with Landers and Red to the left. Williams to the right. It's a handoff to Brandon Isaiah, running right, and he does appear to get past the line of scrimmage. Only gained maybe a half yard, but that is enough to force the Steel to burn their last timeout. 33 seconds left. And they're going to give Isaiah just about a half yard on that gain. So it did not get a lot, but it got enough for the Raiders. As Kenneth Moses limping off the field, one of the offensive linemen who's played on the O-line all night long for the Raiders. Lawrence Lewis comes in to replace him for hopefully will be the last 1 or 2 snaps of this game. 33 seconds to go, a 25-second play clock here in the SIFL. So depending on how long this play takes, if they do get another gain, they'll have to umpile the players, mark the ball ready for play. If all that takes more than 8 seconds, they will not have to snap it again. 2nd down and a long 9 for the Raiders. All they want is a positive gain. Brandon Isaiah behind Aaron Alexander in the backfield. All 3 men split out to the left. Thompson now peels off as the referee is resetting. And the play clock was winding down, but the referee came in to talk to the Raiders lineman. He was telling Lawrence Lewis something. Very unorthodox for the ref to come in with the play clock under 10 seconds and start talking to the offensive lineman without resetting the clock. So the Raiders take their 2nd timeout to avoid a penalty. I don't know what he could have possibly been saying to Law Lou as Red was in motion. They were getting ready to snap the ball. But the referee got in the middle of things and forced the Raiders to take their second timeout. Set to go now again. Trips to the left. Brandon Isaiah, the fullback. Aaron Alexander under center. Red Thompson will peel back and run across to the right side of the formation. Hand off to Isaiah. He is hit near the line, falling forward. And again, very little, if any, on the gain. But the clock is running. They give him about the nose of the football on the gain. He gained literally inches on that play based on the spot. But the clock is running. The play clock hasn't even been started yet. Final 12 seconds ticking away. And the Raiders are going to get out of here with a hard-fought and hard-earned victory in their season opener. 59-56, the final score. The Raiders got all they wanted from the Trenton Steel, but managed to get a couple of defensive stops late, a couple of big offensive plays late, one coming from their backup quarterback, and they get out of town with a 59-56 victory on opening night. Doesn't get much more exciting than that. Came down to the final play, an onside kick sealed it. Brandon Isaiah gained inches on a couple of runs. And the Raiders get out of here with a 3-point win. We'll take a timeout and come back with a post-game show. Give you the final stats, the final summary, look ahead to next week. All that more coming up after this. You're tuned in to Richmond Raiders football.